Just because I was born with striking red hair, my own family pushed me down the stairs. Since then, I've been able to walk through walls, and eavesdropping is a piece of cake. You think I died? Actually, I'm still alive. It's just that when I lose consciousness, I experience spirit projection. I've gotten used to it over 24 years. Besides spirit projection, I can also perform soul binding on others. My gambling addict brother, who's always sneaking out, is my usual unlucky target, although having this special ability has brought me an illegitimate daughter, plenty of entertainment. It sometimes causes a lot of trouble too. One night, I drift somewhere without knowing where, and accidentally stumble upon a full-blown cheating scene. My eyes go wide. Isn't that my sister's fiancé? He's cheating, and with 2 kids. I'm so shocked I don't dare breathe. This is absolutely absurd. So I perform soul binding on his friend and call my sister over. When my sister arrives and sees the scene clearly, she's furious. The next second, she grabs a wine bottle and unleashes fury on that cheating pair. I thought she'd be heartbroken for a while, but the next day she's already happily preparing to find someone new. The miserable one is me. She grabs me tight and insists I come along. Vivian acts all cute with me, saying I saved her and begging me to help her again. Inside, I'm completely resistant. Vivian plans to attend a noble banquet. She says there'll be tons of handsome men and drags me along. I freeze on the spot. Just thinking about such a crowded event makes me anxious. I try to make excuses to escape, but Vivian completely ignores me, giving me no chance at all. So I have no choice but to accept, feeling miserable inside. The banquet hall buzzes with voices. I struggle through the crowded masses. This gown weighs a ton. I can't help complaining whether this is a dress or a chandelier. The moment Vivian enters the hall, she forgets all about me. She just turns away and I'm gone from her mind. If I'd known I'd be abandoned like this, I shouldn't have come to this banquet. For me, the only thing worth looking forward to at this banquet is the food. The table overflows with delicacies. My mouth waters just looking at it. So extravagant. But this heavy gown makes it impossible to even enjoy the food properly. Suddenly someone announces loudly that Princess Isabella Rhine has arrived. I immediately remember she's that legendary princess from Frosthold Kingdom. She ended a century-long war and never yielded to invasion or betrayal. Rumor has it she extended help regardless of sides and ultimately signed the peace covenant with the Solaris Empire. And she's actually my age. That's incredible. I crane my neck, curiously, wanting to see what this legendary princess looks like. Princess Isabella steps forward and introduces herself as Isabella Rhine. Her pronunciation is incredibly standard and fluent. I've heard the Empire's language and the northern tongue differ greatly. She must have worked hard at it. I notice the person beside her. He's the Emperor's nephew, the Empire's commander, Duke Caspar Ashford. These two were once enemies, yet now they enter hand in hand. It seems the war has truly ended. At this moment, the crowd rushes madly toward Princess Isabella and Duke Caspar. I'm pushed around, stumbling left and right. I panic inside. If this keeps up, I'll definitely fall. In the chaos, I feel someone deliberately touch my butt. I'm both shocked and angry. Which idiot dares to take advantage of this moment? I look up, and it's actually Duke Caspar. He's even frowning at me. I feel so wronged. I'm the one being groped, yet he looks disgusted. Before I can react, someone slams into me hard. I fall straight to the ground. Covered in stains, I lie there pathetically in front of everyone. I'm afraid people will start mocking me as an illegitimate daughter who doesn't know proper etiquette. Just as I want to disappear, Princess Isabella hands me a clean handkerchief. With an apologetic expression, she says it's because she caused this commotion that I experienced this while dining. I quickly say, "Your Highness, I'm fine. Thank you for your concern." Then I take her handkerchief. She smiles and says, "How fortunate we both have red hair. Even if you get tomato sauce on it, it won't show. Though the pungent smell can't be hidden. You'd better go wash up." I look up in confusion, not understanding her meaning. Is she mocking me? She maintains her smile and bids me farewell. I force myself to respond, pulling out a smile. Watching everyone's retreating figures, I mutter quietly, "That's not funny at all." I struggle to my feet, feeling utterly depressed. I still have to attend 4 more days of this banquet. They might as well kill me. Now, that evening, I return to the room the palace assigned me. I collapse onto the bed, running out of the banquet hall in that embarrassing state. No one even noticed me. This room isn't comfortable either. I really want to go home. The more I think about it, the more depressed I get. Before I know it, my spirit projects out of my body again. I pause, then remember I'm here for the royal banquet, but I'm completely unfamiliar with the palace interior and can't even figure out which direction is which. In spirit form, I can't ask anyone for directions. What's worse, if I can't get back to my body in time, it'll be terrible. Vivian will think I'm sleeping in and I'll definitely get a beating. Whatever, might as well go with it and explore a bit. I haven't floated far when I suddenly stop. I start wondering where the floor below leads. I try passing through the wall. Suddenly something touches my foot. My hair stands on end instantly. I cry out. Someone can actually touch me in spirit form. Before, when in spirit form, I never felt anything when touching people. What's going on? Does the palace have some special property? There's no one else here. Was it my imagination? Muttering to myself, I land on the ground. Curious about who lives in this room, I look around and discover this room is twice the size of mine. Most items in the room are palace furnishings, except for one old bag that looks out of place. I lean closer to peek inside. Inside the bag is an extremely worn stuffed bear. Does a child live in this room? Otherwise, why would there be a stuffed bear? But this bear is so tattered, it's not really something a child would like. I stare at the bear for a while. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. It looks familiar. I can't help reaching out to touch it. The next second, I'm sucked in by a force. I panic. Am I about to perform soul binding? This This is too bizarre. When I come to my senses, I find myself inside the stuffed bear's body. I struggle frantically inside the bear. After trying for ages without breaking free, can I really not get out? In desperation, I start shaking, and the noise alerts someone. Hearing someone speak in the room, I freeze instantly and don't dare move. This is actually an adult man's voice, and his voice sounds fierce. It's terrifying. I tremble inside the stuffed bear, praying in my heart that he won't come over. The footsteps get closer. The person opens the old bag. Who would have thought the person treasuring this old stuffed bear would be him, the war god, Duke Casper Ashford? Not noticing anything unusual, he snaps the old bag shut. I was so shocked I almost cried out just now. If he discovers something fishy, this little bear body will definitely be torn to shreds. Phew, safe for now. But I can't move around and tear the stitches, or my real body will hurt too. I used to fantasize about conquering the world through soul binding. Now that seems like pure fantasy. The conditions for soul binding are too strict. I can't touch healthy people at all. Only cowards, drunks, or people who fainted can be bound. Binding to small animals is relatively easier, but it never lasts more than 3 hours. I never expected I could bind to a stuffed bear. This experience is quite novel. At this moment, footsteps approach. Casper's large hand reaches in. He grabs me. I'm totally panicking inside. What does this handsome man want? The war has been over for more than a month, yet I still can't let my guard down. He whispers to me, "Do you also think I'm a fool, Alice?" I didn't expect him to be so gentle, and right now, with his silver wet hair, deep blue eyes, he's absolutely stunning. I just didn't expect the person who groped me at the banquet would be him. After Casper gently tucks me in with a blanket, he turns and tiptoes out of the room. Footsteps sound again. Ah, why is he back? I'm so nervous. Casper sits beside me and quietly picks up a book to read. I suddenly realize being a stuffed bear is so relaxing. No need to breathe or blink, just a bit boring. After a while, he puts down the book. Then he lies down beside me to sleep. How long has it been now? 30 minutes? An hour? The more I wait, the more awake I feel. I can't sleep. I sneak a glance at the Duke. He's sleeping soundly, his breathing steady. I try to turn the bear's head. What time is it anyway? This is so boring. Caught you, Casper suddenly speaks. I stiffen in shock, my heart pounding wildly. He immediately presses his large hand on me, saying with certainty, I knew something was fishy. Pinned down. I flail frantically. I'm done for. Oh no. He was pretending to sleep this whole time. This man is terrifying. I hear him ask me, "Are you a demon?" Then in a flash, he draws his sword. I cry out desperately, "Stop, spare me. Casper." Casper raises an eyebrow. How do you know my name? My eyes light up. There's hope. I shout, of course I know. I'm your beloved little bear. Your love gave me a soul. Put down the sword and hug me. Hearing this, Casper lowers his sword. I rejoice inside. Yes, exactly. This is the sweet Duke who tucked me in. Then he picks me up. I panic. Where are you taking me? I quickly try to smooth things over. How about we sit down and talk properly? The next second, cold water splashes over me, making me shiver. Casper frowns. Does holy water not work on you? I shout angrily. Of course not. I'm not a demon. How could something this cute be a demon? He then looks at the temple necklace around his neck, his expression turning serious. Then he shoves the necklace right in my face. Seeing it doesn't work, he murmurs. Seems like it's not a curse or the work of a demon. I quickly respond, of course not. Please believe me. He asks back, can a stuffed toy just start talking and moving after sitting around for 10 years? I quickly nod. Yes, exactly. He presses on. Then why have you never moved before? I feel uneasy inside. I'm about to be exposed. I need to think of something fast. I quickly make an excuse. That's because your love wasn't enough before. I was sleeping all along. It was your tenderness that awakened me. I really wanted to see you, Casper. We're friends, right? Though calling the Emperor's nephew by his first name makes my conscience uneasy. I'm about to be thrown away. Who cares about conscience? But he doesn't say anything. He just pulls open the curtains and holds me out the window. In a cold tone, he says, I can't believe you, and I can't accept a bizarre talking toy. I shout desperately, Casper, wait! This is the 4th floor. Before I finish speaking, I'm thrown out. I yell furiously, Casper, you cold-blooded jerk. Then I jolt awake and sit up. My heart pounds wildly. Still shaken, I can't control my breathing. Huh? I'm back in my body? I'm actually fine? Was all that just a dream? Vivian hears the commotion and comes over, asking with concern what's wrong. I say it's nothing, just a terrible nightmare. She hugs me and says gently, it's okay, I'm here with you. I freeze. She's calling herself my sister? She hasn't referred to herself that way since that day. Is she not fully awake? Is her mind foggy? At this moment, Vivian's eyes snap open. She scrambles out of bed, shouting that the sun is already high, urging me to get up quickly. There's a luncheon at noon today. His Majesty will summon all the top nobles. It'll be grand, so I'm forced to get up. Actually, I'm full of resistance and unease inside. Just thinking about how everyone at the luncheon will gossip about my embarrassing fall yesterday gives me a headache. I really want to find a corner and be alone. After changing clothes, I come alone to the back garden. Right now, the garden blooms with vibrant colors. I'd love to pick some flowers to brighten up my room. A figure stands not far away, dressed simply. Could this be the palace gardener? I gather my courage and approach to greet him, carefully asking if I can pick some flowers. He raises an eyebrow. Pick flowers? I nod and explain, yes, I'd like to take some flowers back to my room to make it cozier. He suddenly asks, then why are you asking me? This leaves me speechless. I ask in confusion, should I ask someone else? He says indifferently, help yourself, then turns to leave. Watching his cold retreating figure, I grumble to myself that this servant is too aloof. I squat down to select beautiful flowers, thinking Vivian would be happy if I put them in the bath. Suddenly, a bird flutters down. It seems to be dead. This scares me and I fall right onto the ground. I'm so frustrated. How many times have I fallen since yesterday? At this moment, that gardener returns and extends his hand, asking if I'm okay. I scramble up quickly, saying I'm fine. Someone saw me again. Ugh, so embarrassing. Then I crouch down and gently wrap the bird's body with my handkerchief. The gardener asks curiously, what are you picking up this bird's body for? I answer seriously. I want to cremate it. I don't want it to be trampled on carelessly, he says with confusion. You don't need to bother with it. It has nothing to do with you, miss. I reply, since I've seen it, I can't just ignore it. Afraid he'll misunderstand me as pretending to be kind. I quickly add, I'm not being particularly kind. It's just that if I leave it alone, I'll feel uncomfortable all day. I'm doing this for myself, just for peace of mind. Just like how you were willing to help me when I fell just now. After saying this, I turn to leave, not wanting to continue this awkward conversation. Suddenly, cheerful laughter sounds behind me. I turn around in confusion to look at him. He says with a smile that I'm interesting, then asks my name. He bows and introduces himself as a swordsman from Frosthold Kingdom, Princess Isabella's guard, Theodore Stone. My eyes widen in surprise. I blurt out, "You're not a gardener?" I didn't realize at all. I stammer an explanation. You weren't wearing a guard's uniform, so I misunderstood. Please forgive my rudeness. Theodore waves his hand with a smile, saying it's all a misunderstanding and he doesn't mind. I quickly curtsy and give my name. I'm Cecilia, daughter of Count Eisen. He responds politely, Miss Cecilia Eisen, pleased to meet you. He says he'd love to chat more, but he still has duties. He picks a flower. He hands me the flower and emphasizes again that his name is Theodore Stone. He says with a smile that he hopes to see me again. Soon it's time for the luncheon. The venue is resplendent. Our family sits properly at our seats. Father notices everyone's unease and reassures us not to be too nervous. Although His Majesty the Emperor is present, this is a ceasefire celebration. Everyone can relax. I look at the hall full of nobles, thinking all the renowned families are here, truly worthy of a royal luncheon. The Countess also gently reminds us to behave properly as usual. I mutter to myself that if I act like usual, I'll probably embarrass the Eisen family. The Countess suddenly calls me, asking if I fell at the banquet yesterday. She looks guilty, saying she was busy chatting with the salon ladies, and only heard about it afterward. I shake my head and say it's fine. She doesn't need to worry too much about me. Vivian holds my hand and apologizes too, saying she should have looked after me more. I quickly say it's okay. Inside, I'm touched that these two are truly so kind. Stepmothers in books love to torment non-biological children, but the Countess treats me wonderfully. I often feel lucky to have met such family members. Father asks nervously, did someone push you when you fell? If so, I won't let this go. I quickly explain, no one pushed me. I wanted to see the allied princess and got knocked down by the rushing crowd. Father relaxes and asks, did you get to speak with Her Highness? I nod and say she saw me fall and lent me her handkerchief. I mutter to myself that she also made an unpleasant joke. Lauren suddenly says it seems like I have something else to say. He presses, did something happen between you and the princess? I quickly shake my head and say no, not wanting to bring up that embarrassing scene again. Lauren raises an eyebrow and says persistently that my expression doesn't look like nothing happened. Seeing this, Vivian suddenly kicks Lauren's foot. She says quietly, enough, stop pressing her. Lauren complains indignantly, why are you only kicking me? That's not fair. Father stands at this moment, saying His Majesty is calling for him. Hearing this, I recall a rumor. I heard the Emperor and my late uncle were close friends, so he treats Father like a brother. But even so, publicly calling Father away alone is too conspicuous. But these are adults' matters. I don't need to worry unnecessarily. At this moment, a maid approaches and says respectfully, Miss Eisen, His Majesty summons you. I turn to look. I see both the Emperor and Father watching me. I stand up, full of questions. Why does he want to see me? At this moment, Lauren also stands. He says with concern, don't you hate being the center of attention? I'll escort you. I feel a bit indignant. I'm not a child. I don't need his special escort. Lauren raises an eyebrow and says, at least you're the youngest of us three. Ugh, worrying for nothing. I approach the Emperor and curtsy. Greetings, Your Majesty. The Emperor explains he summoned me because he heard I was wronged at yesterday's banquet. I quickly say I wasn't hurt. It was my own carelessness yesterday, Isabella says with a smile. As long as you're fine. I thought you'd be angry. I mutter to myself. Does she not remember mocking me with the tomato sauce comment? I quickly explain, I apologize, Your Highness. I was focused on looking at the food and accidentally fell. Isabella asks in surprise. You say food? Weren't you looking at Duke Casper? Hearing this, I freeze instantly. What is she saying? Then I immediately understand. This woman wants to deliberately mess with me. At this moment, Theodore suddenly speaks, saying the princess is being disrespectful to a noble lady. I didn't expect Sir Theodore to step in. With him defending me like this, I can't even get angry. At this moment, Casper also speaks. Princess Isabella, you're being too discourteous. He explains that she and I met for the first time yesterday and only collided because of the crowd. We only made eye contact to apologize, nothing else. He even turns to ask me, wanting me to corroborate. I respond half-heartedly, yes, but inside I'm thinking I've had enough and want to tell the truth. After declining the evening banquet, I return to my room alone to sleep. When I wake up, my jaw drops. How am I bound to the stuffed bear again? And what's with this kitten in front of me? It suddenly leaps toward me. I scream inside. I'm done for. The cat is going to toy with me now. With a thud, the cat presses down on me heavily. Then it bats me around with its paws, playing with me like a toy. This is too much. Enough is enough. So I swing my stuffed paws to fight back. The kitten is stunned. It steps back, clearly not expecting me to resist. I hum triumphantly. Stuffed paws still hurt when hitting cats. While the kitten is still dazed, I quickly run away frantically. In my panic, I hide in a bush, holding my breath and not daring to make a sound. The kitten wanders around nearby for a while, then leaves without finding me. I grumble at the kitten's retreating figure. Stupid cat, you pest. Just as I relax, I hear voices near the bushes. Someone demands, why did you say such things at the luncheon? I look carefully. It's actually Casper and Princess Isabella, but these rose thorns are really hurting me. Oh no, how did I jump into a rose bush? At this moment, Isabella speaks. I saw you staring intently at Miss Eisen, Duke. Why are they talking about me? I immediately perk up the bear's ears. She adds, I was just kindly trying to bring you two together. I thought you'd be pleased, Casper says coldly. You might as well just say you wanted to embarrass me, he mocks. A princess who broke an engagement knows how to turn things around, Isabella says angrily. You always take opportunities to humiliate me. I can only fight back, she shouts emotionally. emotionally. You invaded us first and still called us barbarians. You empire people reek of blood. It makes my nose hurt. I mutter to myself, her temper is worse than I imagined. But what does broken engagement mean? Casper responds calmly, regardless of the past, we've reached a ceasefire agreement now. He warns, if you don't cooperate, you'll risk destroying this precious peace. Isabella trembles with anger. Duke, don't forget you were the invaders. After saying this, she turns and leaves, leaving Casper standing alone. Only now do I realize she was picking on me because she dislikes Casper. Looking at it this way, I dislike Casper even more. I hope you trip and fall every day. Who told you to wear that icy expression all the time? Finally getting what you deserve. At this moment, there's movement. The kitten has found me again. I scream in fright. Go away. Don't come here. There are thorns everywhere. I can't run. At this moment, a familiar voice sounds. Who's there? It's Casper. He's coming. He pushes aside the bushes. After seeing it's me, he says, oh, it's you. I ask angrily, do I have some special relationship with you or something? He says indifferently, a bizarre talking toy wandering around will scare people. I shout angrily. Who's wandering around? Can't you see I'm stuck in thorns? Go away. I'll curse you every day. I curse you to trip on flat ground and have nightmares every night. Casper coldly says 2 words. Be quiet. Seeing him crouch down, I shiver in fear. Is he going to retaliate for me yelling at him? He draws his sword and cuts away the tangled vines. Looking at my disheveled state, he suggests I find a new owner. I'm speechless. Who would like such a tattered bear? Wasn't I abandoned by him too? Casper is silent for a moment. Fine, I'll take you in. Hearing this, I secretly breathe a sigh of relief. This is better than being chased by that pest of a cat. But the next second, I'm thrown into the bath. I sputter. Help, I'm going to drown. Casper says calmly, you're not even human. What are you shouting about? I retort, I know that, but I can't breathe right now. I swallow several mouthfuls of water. My body absorbs water and becomes heavy. He grabs me out of the water, then tosses me directly onto the floor. I cry out in pain. What are you doing? That hurt. He takes off his shirt and says, get out once you're clean. You got my clothes wet. I'm so embarrassed I quickly scramble out of the room. As I run, I suddenly remember, when I fall asleep, I experience spirit projection. So if I fall asleep, can I return to my own body? Soon after, Casper finishes bathing and opens the door. He sees me lying on the ground with my eyes covered, trying to sleep. He asks in confusion what I'm doing. I get up impatiently and respond, why do you keep calling me? Can't you see I'm trying to sleep? He asks again, what exactly are you doing? I answer honestly, I'm trying to sleep, but I can't seem to fall asleep. Maybe because the floor is too hard? So I turn and run toward the bed. I need to sleep immediately, but he picks me up, saying I'm all wet and can't get on the bed. Looking at me helplessly, he says, let me take care of the stuffing coming out first. Casper searches for a while and says, there's no thread the same color as your fur here. Seeing him pick up needle and thread, I ask in surprise, wow, you know how to sew? I sit obediently and let him sew, full of curiosity inside. While threading the needle, he says, I'm a soldier. Of course I know this much. Otherwise, who do you think has been mending you all this time? I tease. Seems like you really cherish me. He coldly tells me to shut up. I can't help asking, is my name Alice? He answers simply, no, Alice is my sister. You're what my sister gave me 10 years ago before going to the battlefield. I'm touched inside. He's actually treasured his sister's gift for 10 years. I ask again, were you two close before? He replies, we were once. I press on. And now? He's silent for a moment and says, she's gone now. Hearing this, I fall silent too. Though I can't see his face, I can feel his sadness. I heard Casper fought his first battle at 18, achieving greatness at such a young age. Following the late Duke's orders, he went to war and earned great military honors over 7 years. Later, he became the Northern War Commander-in-Chief and inherited the title after his father passed. I wonder when he was fighting in the cold north, did he look at this little bear and miss his sister? How gentle his sister must have been. At this moment, Vivian suddenly calls me, and I snap back to reality. Vivian asks me gossipy questions about whether I have an ideal type. I state firmly that I don't have an ideal type at all. She persists, saying even if I don't, I must have imagined what my future husband would be like. I answer honestly that I've never thought about a future husband at all. At this moment, male leads from romance novels flash through my mind. They're all different, but they all share a common trait. So I continue answering. If I must say, then my husband must be someone who truly loves me. If I must marry, I want to spend my life with someone who genuinely cares for me. Vivian mutters quietly that I'm silly. What gentleman wouldn't like me? I argue, nonsense. Even a beauty like you, Vivian, isn't liked by everyone. She agrees with me and mentions the handsome knight she saw at yesterday's banquet. No matter how friendly she was to him, he didn't want to chat much with her. I'm so annoyed. I complain about who dares to be so rude. Vivian says with a smile that it's okay. She changes the subject, saying that Knight perked up when he heard my name. He even asked her about me, saying he'd met me at Laurel Garden. Hearing this, I'm very surprised. She tries hard to recall, saying he's from Frosthold Kingdom, and his name is... My heart skips a beat. I guess, could it be Theodore Stone? Correct. Theodore's voice sounds behind me. My heart pounds in fright. I didn't even notice when he arrived. Seeing this, Theodore apologizes, saying he's sorry for startling us. Vivian waves her hand with a smile, saying she saw him earlier but deliberately didn't say anything. I'm helpless. When did Vivian become so mischievous? Vivian warmly invites Theodore to dine with us. Theodore immediately accepts cheerfully, saying he won't be shy then. Theodore sits down and says he actually came specifically to see me. He explains he heard I wasn't feeling well yesterday and came to check on me. I respond, if it's because of Princess Isabella's matter, you don't need to worry. That incident didn't affect me, and the misunderstanding has been cleared up. Theodore looks puzzled. Why suddenly bring up Princess Isabella? He states frankly he didn't come because of her highness. Though he's the princess's guard, he has no obligation to deal with her personal issues. He's genuinely concerned about me. I ask in confusion, but you have no reason to be so concerned about me. Vivian quickly taps me. How can you say that? I hear Theodore say with a smile, "Miss, we're friends." I freeze. Theodore and I are already friends. I quickly wave my hands. We only met for the first time yesterday. We're not that familiar. But he insists. I think that's enough to be friends. Then he extends his hand and says, "If not, then let's start being friends with a handshake." I quickly stand up and protest. Making friends isn't that simple. It takes a long time to truly understand each other. Theodore presses me, asking how long I think it takes to become friends. The words slip out before I can stop them. About 10 years. The moment I say it, regret floods through me. Isn't it way too obvious now that I have no friends? But Theodore doesn't hesitate for a second. He immediately agrees, saying he's looking forward to the next 10 years then. I'm completely dumbfounded. Why doesn't this man play by the rules at all? Isn't he afraid of strange rumors spreading about us? Vivian laughs and praises him, saying the night is so refreshingly straightforward. Watching them interact, I wonder to myself, why doesn't he become friends with Vivian instead? They're clearly more compatible. That evening at the banquet, I slip away again. I didn't want to come to the banquet, but Vivian dragged me here anyway. Then I stood awkwardly among her friends for ages, making everyone uncomfortable. Vivian is truly impressive, managing to include someone as unlikable as me. Anyway, I need to find somewhere to hide away from the crowd before she notices. Then I catch sight of an empty terrace in the distance. I immediately head toward it, thinking my luck is pretty good today. Just as I reach for the door handle, someone else grabs it at the same time. It startles me completely. The other person greets me first. "Good evening, miss." I look up and discover it's a priest. I mumble back a vague good evening. The priest politely asks me to step aside. I nod blankly. Then when I realize what he means, I immediately panic and block his way, saying, "Wait, I was here first, you can't cut in line." He calmly informs me that quarreling is the devil's temptation. He praises me as beautiful and wise, suggesting it would be more appropriate for me to go to another terrace. I silently curse how cunning he is, constantly trying to persuade me to go elsewhere, but I'm not falling for it. So while he is distracted, I quickly squeeze through the door and thank him for his generosity. His furious roar comes from outside. He demands to know why I don't show priests proper courtesy. He says I should be enjoying the banquet with my friends, not hiding away. I pull the curtain shut and state bluntly, unfortunately, I don't have many friends. Violent knocking comes from outside the terrace. He yells for me to open the door. I stretch lazily and respond, "Sorry, not opening it. You should go back to praying." The moment I finish speaking, the door swings open. The priest actually barges right in. He holds up a torn page from the sacred scripture, corners of his mouth lifting as he says, "This is God's victory." I'm stunned speechless. Doesn't a priest tearing the sacred scripture count as blasphemy? Then without another word, he pushes me toward the exit, shouting for me to get out. Furious, I threaten to report him to the temple. He'll definitely be dismissed. The priest releases me in fright and tactically retreats. He shouts angrily, but eventually gives up helplessly and stops forcing me. He finds a corner to sit in and declares firmly, "I'm staying here anyway. Whether you leave or stay is up to you." I shrug and respond, "Fine by me. This is better than the two of us coming to blows." I also find a corner to sit in. I can finally enjoy this moment of peace. After all this commotion, I'm already starving. I need to find something to eat. So I call out to him, "I'm going to get food. Can you lock the door?" He's speechless, then says, "Bring me back a bottle of wine while you're at it." I flatly refuse, saying, "I'll go first, you can get it yourself later." He complains that I'm too stingy, saying it wouldn't look good if people saw a priest drinking. I'm speechless, thinking, so, tearing the sacred scripture isn't outrageous? But I'm not stingy at all, so I walk past him. I ask which type of red wine he wants. He rattles off a bunch of things I don't understand. All I remember is that he said red. At the banquet hall, I stare anxiously at a pile of wine bottles. I can't tell what they are from the outside at all. I pick up a bottle and shake it, trying hard to recall what name he mentioned, as I'm carefully examining the bottle in my hand. A familiar voice suddenly comes from behind me. Theodore asks curiously, "What are you doing?" His words startle me. I turn around and exclaim, "Theodore, how is it you?" I complain, "You really appear out of nowhere, Theodore." Theodore apologizes with a smile, saying it's mainly a habit he's developed. I tease him helplessly, "You are truly unique, having a habit of scaring people." While talking, I suddenly notice the red wine has spilled. It's stained my dress. After thinking, Theodore says, "I have done that before, but I've stopped now." I counter, "You don't seem like you've stopped to me." He responds with a smile, "Then it must be that. Miss Cecilia always falls for the same trick." The moment he finishes speaking, Theodore suddenly kneels down on one knee, startling me completely. My cheeks instantly burn as I say, "You're a knight. How can you kneel so easily?" I see him reaching for his handkerchief, wanting to wipe the stain on my dress. I quickly tell him to stand up, saying there's no need to be so courteous. He looks up at me and asks if I forgive him for startling me just now. I sigh and say, "I wasn't angry in the first place." Theodore breathes a sigh of relief and says with a smile, "That's good." He then stands up. I take the initiative to ask him, "Do you have something you want to tell me?" He says frankly that he wants to ask why I keep staring at the wine bottles. I quickly turn around to hide my embarrassment. I think to myself, he's been watching me this whole time. I don't answer him and say hastily, "I'll take my leave now. I just want to escape this awkward atmosphere." Unexpectedly, Theodore keeps following behind me with no intention of leaving. Before I know it, he returns to the terrace with me. I start to worry that the priest will be angry when he sees I've brought someone. But after seeing the priest happily chatting with someone else, I think, clearly I was overthinking. There's no need to worry he'll be angry. The priest quickly notices us. Seeing that I've brought someone, he shouts unhappily, "How could you bring someone else here?" I fire back without backing down. "Do you have the right to question me, father?" His eyes dart away, looking somewhat guilty. He doesn't respond, instead asking, "Where's the wine?" I hand him the wine and say coldly, "Here." Then I huff and walk away. He picks up the wine glass and takes a sip. He exclaims, "Ugh, so sweet, what is this?" He wants to come over and question me. "Didn't I tell you to get red?" But Theodore blocks his path, preventing him from approaching me. Theodore's tone is serious. "Your words are quite discourteous." His tone intensifies. "You made a noble lady run errands to fetch wine, and now you're getting angry at her. Do you think Miss Cecilia is easy to bully because of her temperament?" The priest shouts in shock. "What?" He clearly didn't expect to be called out publicly. I want to step forward and mediate, but I can't get a word in, so I give up. A familiar voice suddenly comes from behind, asking, Aren't you going to break it up? I turn around in surprise. It's actually Casper Ashford. He's been standing behind a pillar this whole time, watching everything. I mutter to myself, birds of a feather really do flock together. These two are equally shameless. I ignore him. If you're worried, go break it up yourself. But just seeing his "it's all my fault" expression makes me furious. So I stand up, ready for battle, regarding what happened at the banquet that night. If you have any conscience, you should apologize to me. Casper laughs angrily. Ha! You're the one who should be apologizing. This is ridiculous. I question him even more furiously. Did I press my rear against your hand myself? Casper fires back. What are you saying? You're the one who groped me. I shout. Nonsense. You're clearly the one who did it. How dare you blame me instead? Hearing this, Casper swears directly. I guarantee on royal honor I absolutely did not do such a thing. But I don't believe him at all. After all, he's so shameless. The priest tries to smooth things over, saying maybe we both got it wrong. Perhaps it was just an accidental touch. Casper and I roar in unison. Impossible, because it wasn't just a touch, it was a squeeze. The priest nods awkwardly and says, oh, I see. Casper is the first to compromise. Fine, let's just pretend you didn't grope me. But why would I grope you? We hadn't even met before. I have no reason to do such a thing. I counter. That's exactly what I want to ask you. I didn't have a spare hand that day to do such a thing. Casper continues explaining that the skirt I wore that day was very wide. He couldn't have reached his hand in. I freeze in place, thinking, what he says actually makes sense. I did indeed wear a very puffy dress that day. Theodore speaks up at just the right moment. Cecilia, we should head back. Vivian might be looking for us. The priest also chimes in. Perhaps this misunderstanding should end here. I sigh, thinking, although I'm unhappy, let's just leave it at this for now. But what's with that murderous look in his eyes? Not to be outdone, I immediately glare back. Casper backs down, saying he won't pursue what happened that day anymore, and he hopes there will be no further entanglements between us. How does he have the nerve to say such things? So I state bluntly, I hope you stop dragging me into your disputes with the princess. I suffered embarrassment at the banquet because of you. I emphasize, you cannot dispute this point. That's simply the truth. Casper shows a surprised expression, looking as if to say, how do you know? I'm secretly pleased. Idiot. Wonder about it for the rest of your life. Then I stride away, not wanting to get entangled with him any further. After leaving, Theodore suddenly laughs. I look back in confusion. He explains sheepishly, you look so cute when you're angry. My cheeks burn as I wonder, what's cute about that? Has his funny bone been triggered? At this moment, Vivian's urgent calls can be faintly heard in the distance. Her tone is full of worry. She's really concerned about me. But the next second, I get hit just as expected. After returning to my room, I force my eyelids to stay open, not daring to sleep. My mind is a mess. I still can't figure out what happened that day. I can't help but wonder, what if Casper really isn't the culprit? With his personality, he wouldn't let it go so easily. I keep blinking, warning myself, no, I can't sleep. Absolutely cannot sleep. I'm afraid that if I fall asleep, I'll wake up as the stuffed bear again. After all, I just had a huge argument with the Duke. I don't have the confidence to face him. However, exhaustion keeps washing over me. Before I know it, I fall asleep anyway. In a daze, I hear someone crying for help. The voice is very faint. I wake up instantly, wondering, what sound is that? Who's talking? After seeing my surroundings, clearly, I break down. I've turned into the bear again. Standing before me are Casper and the priest, both staring at me. The priest exclaims in surprise, what? It really came to life. I stand up screaming in terror. What do these two want to do? But nails have been driven through my paws. Looking down, I see I've been gutted. The stuffing inside is exposed. When I see my surroundings, clearly, my heart suddenly tightens. Flickering before me is a row of white candles. Beside them are arranged holy water, a sacred relic, and beneath my feet is a painting covered with eerie symbols. The priest speaks up to greet me at this moment. Looking at this setup, I finally realize what's going on. A chill runs up my spine, and I can't help but shout furiously, you lunatics! What terrible thing are you doing? Let me go! The priest slowly reaches his hand toward me, telling me not to be afraid. I retreat in terror and shout, don't come near me! Stay away! At this moment, the candles behind me burn me. I cry out in pain. During my violent struggle, I forcibly tear out the nails. I grab a nail, trembling with rage. The priest says to Casper, it looks like a demon, doesn't it? I roar, I am not, you bunch of arsonists and murderers! The priest is angry, not expecting me to curse him like this. But I'm not afraid of him at all. I continue shouting repeatedly, you bastards! Murderers! Arsonists! Then I turn to Casper and shout, I'm not a demon! Why won't you believe me? While flipping through a book, the priest counters, what demon in the world would admit to being a demon? But Casper suddenly apologizes, saying he didn't mean to. He just wanted to confirm. He didn't want to hurt me. He assures me that he won't let me near fire again. I don't need to be afraid anymore. He swears on royal honor that he won't do it again. He asks me to trust him one more time. I'm persuaded by him, but my stuffing keeps falling to the ground through the tear. I frantically reach to pick it up. I desperately try to gather the stuffing and push it back inside, but it keeps falling out. Looking at the stuffing that won't stay in, my eyes sting with grievance. I want to cry. Why does the stuffing keep leaking out? Why hasn't a single thing gone right since I came here? Seeing this, Casper immediately takes out needle and thread and begins to sew me up, but the priest is still trying to persuade Casper, saying I'm a demon. I sit up angrily and snap back at him. I think you're suspicious too. By your logic, we should cut open your stomach and check too. The priest shouts in shock. What? Clearly not expecting me to fight back like this. At this moment, Casper holds me down, telling me not to move around. He can't sew like this. I swat his hand away. Don't use this as an excuse to take advantage of me. Casper bewilderedly moves his hand away. Seeing this, the priest comes over to tease Casper. Looks like he's a serial offender, so I quickly press Casper. Have you made inappropriate advances towards strange women before? Casper protests defensively that he's never done such a thing. Looking at his expression, I wonder, could it really not not have been him. The priest sits down at this moment and begins talking about what happened at the banquet that day. He says that woman was Count Eisen's second daughter. She wouldn't do shameless things. I quickly nod in agreement, thinking, that's right, I'm not that kind of person. The priest adds that I rarely attend banquets. People find it hard to even see me. He says some people even make the comparison. If the North has the Empire's ice wall, then high society has the ice rose. I freeze. What rose? This comparison is completely ridiculous. Casper scoffs, comparing that terrifying woman to a rose? You must be joking. Hearing this, I'm momentarily speechless. I'm not that terrifying. He was the one looking at me like he wanted to devour me. As I'm thinking, I suddenly realize they're staring at me. Casper asks me what kind of expression I'm making. It's so strange. He teases me, saying every time I'm unhappy, I make the face of a puppy that needs to pee. I shout angrily, "Are you an idiot? I'm not a dog. I'm a little bear." I complain indignantly. I was sleeping peacefully, woke up gutted, and nearly burned to death. If it were you, would you be happy? Casper puts away the needle and thread, saying he's finished sewing. I should take a look. I reach out and feel it. Wow, it's sewn so well. It's amazing. I marvel inwardly. Such large hands can do such delicate needlework. While touching, I suddenly feel something hard inside my belly. I ask curiously, what is this? Hidden in the stuffing. Casper responds guiltily, it's probably just clump stuffing. I retort indignantly, I'm not an idiot! This isn't stuffing. I suddenly notice Casper's necklace is missing. I realize a sacred relic has been stuffed inside my belly. At this moment, the priest smiles and takes out a pink ribbon, saying he wants to give it to me. He says if I wear it, I'll definitely become the cutest little bear in the world, since he put it that way. I absolutely must wear it. That evening, I can't help but ask Casper, you always wait until I fall asleep before sleeping. Aren't you tired? Casper tells me to stop talking nonsense and go to sleep. I say pitifully, but I really can't sleep. Then I start asking about his sister Alice. So Casper speaks softly about Alice. She was a very kind girl. Though she was 6 years younger than me, she was both smart and capable, exceptionally sensible. She always appeared steady and cheerful, never showing her struggles. He still remembers clearly even now how Alice played with him when she was little. Alice was born with a birthmark like the divine mark, so she was revered as a saintess. She was taken to the Cathedral of Sacred Light, worshipped by people, but lost her freedom. My mother and I didn't want Alice to become a saintess. It was too hard. Before becoming a saintess, Alice had to live in the cathedral and receive special education. But Alice was only 4 years old then, so young and pitiable. After Alice turned 5, she basically lived in the cathedral, coming home only once every half month. She struggled so much. Her daily duties at the cathedral were so heavy they nearly crushed her shoulders. But every time she came back to see me, she would immediately put on a smile. I had hoped that after Alice turned 20 and came of age, she could enjoy the rest of her life. But she left this world far too early. I'm filled with regret. If I had known it would end like this, even if I had to throw tantrums and cry endlessly to father, I should never have let her stay alone in the cathedral. How lonely she must have been. Hearing him say this, I suddenly freeze. A clear thought flashing through my mind. Every saintess I've ever seen, their faces all seem to carry an indescribable, unhappy expression. Casper continues, the day I went to the battlefield, Alice gave me the little bear, saying it would protect me in her place. Perhaps the little bear really did work. That's how I returned safely from the battlefield. If I had known, I shouldn't have accepted the little bear back then. If Alice had kept it with her then, perhaps that accident wouldn't have happened. I quickly comfort him. I'm just an ordinary stuffed bear. I don't have that kind of power. No matter where I am, I can't change anything. He answers with a smile. You're right. I reflect inwardly. I never expected the heroic god of war to have such a heartbreaking past, so I continue comforting him. But now I can help you block evil curses and demons. I pat my belly for emphasis. After all, I'm now a stuffed bear with a sacred relic inside. Hearing this, Casper laughs, but he still dampens my spirits, saying my identity is still very suspicious. I shout angrily, I was just trying to comfort you. He holds me down and instructs me. When I'm not around and you wake up, pretend to be a doll. If others discover you can talk, it'll be troublesome. He tells me to be patient. Once we return to Ashford Estate, I'll have freedom there. I ask in delighted surprise, you mean you're taking me back with you? Casper responds matter-of-factly, I brought you here, so I'm definitely responsible for you. After saying this, seeing it's getting late, he turns to prepare for sleep. The next morning, Lauren and Vivian notice my expression is off. Lauren can't help but ask if I ate something bad. I ask him in confusion, what's wrong? Do I look strange? The two of them nod together. Yes, you really don't look right. I hesitate for a moment and say, I have a question. You must answer honestly. I ask them quietly, do I look terrifying? The two of them shout in shock. What? Who dares say that about you? Vivian says indignantly. That's outrageous. How can anyone say such things to a girl? I quickly explain, no one said it. I just suddenly thought of it. Lauren gives an objective assessment. You are indeed a bit aloof, but you don't need to change yourself for other standards. Vivian agrees. Exactly, and you've already met someone who genuinely likes you. Lauren looks surprised. Someone likes her? Who? Vivian answers, a handsome knight, the princess of Frosthold Kingdom's guard. Lauren immediately objects. Absolutely not a barbarian. Lauren seriously reminds me that if I marry a barbarian, I'd have to live in the freezing north. Vivian counters, Theodore is so handsome though. I quickly interject, sorry, let me say something. I feel awkward when I'm with Theodore, he's too forward. And I think the person he likes seems to be Vivian, because he looks very happy when chatting with Vivian. He's probably only nice to me because I'm Vivian's sister. I'm quite perceptive. Vivian helplessly tells me to stop. I'm getting more ridiculous. Lauren's attitude is firm. Either way, he won't marry his sister to a barbarian. He declares firmly that anyone wanting to marry an Eisen family lady must get past him first. On the way back, I suddenly feel pain on the back of my neck. I reach up to touch it. I wonder, could this be where the candle burned me last night? I was too scared to think about it then. Now I realize I can feel pain during soul binding too. The priest's voice comes from behind, asking what I'm doing here. He mocks me. I see you keep looking at the servants. Are you observing the male servants' behinds? I immediately counter. Now that you mention it, I recall the sacred scripture you tore yesterday. I complain inwardly. This person seems more frivolous the more I look. Is he really a priest? And that weird purification ritual last night? What a lunatic. The priest asks me back, are you just standing here with nothing else to do? I answer, actually, I saw a dead mouse while walking. I want to clean it up, but I really don't have the courage to touch it. Everyone's busy, so I'm waiting for someone who's free. At this moment, the priest suddenly notices the burn mark on my neck. He suddenly grabs my wrist and demands sternly, what's with this burn? Where did you get burned? I stammer, unable to answer. My mind is in chaos. I can't find a suitable excuse. He stares at me intently. Are you hiding something? I struggle frantically to break free. No. I beg him to let me go immediately. The priest suddenly releases his hand, withdrawing so abruptly that I'm caught off guard. I immediately lose my balance, staggering backward. I'm about to fall hard to the ground. Fortunately, Theodore appears just in time and catches me steadily in his arms. Seeing this, the priest tactically retreats and doesn't continue to harass me. Theodore turns and confronts the priest. What are you doing? This is extremely rude. My cheeks burn as I shyly ask him to put me down. This is too embarrassing. After putting me down, he asks with concern if I'm okay. I quickly respond that I'm fine. Theodore looks at the priest. I thought yesterday's matter was resolved. It seems I misunderstood. The priest says angrily, today isn't the same as yesterday. Don't get involved. Theodore's gaze sharpens. Since you won't show courtesy, I won't be polite either. As he speaks, he begins to draw his sword. The atmosphere instantly becomes tense. I panic inwardly. Things suddenly became hostile. I'm about to speak up and mediate, but I hear people around starting to gossip. Are they going to fight over there? One of them seems to be a priest. I also hear someone muttering about that red-haired woman. She's the Eisen family's illegitimate daughter. My heart sinks. The situation I least wanted to face has happened. I've always wanted to live quietly, but people still gossip about me being illegitimate. Theodore notices my distress and asks worriedly, what's wrong? I come to my senses and quickly say, you two continue. I'll be going now. I just turn to leave, having barely taken a few steps, when I hear someone calling Theodore Stone's name loudly through the crowd. Princess Isabella walks toward us, saying with displeasure, I've been looking for you forever. After seeing me, her gaze suddenly turns cold. She then exclaims, oh, Miss Eisen is here too. Then she changes her expression and offers a false apology. Pardon me. She introduces herself as Princess Isabella Rhine. Isabella puts on a gentle face, saying she sent someone to find Theodore. It seems that person didn't relay the message. Theodore says bluntly, he did relay it, but I forgot. He asked her what she needs. Isabella laughs dryly and states her purpose. She just wants to have tea with him and catch up. Theodore directly refuses. If it's something like that, I can come another time. Hearing this, Isabella's smile immediately freezes on her face. She persists. When you're done, come to my room. After saying this, she maintains her elegance as she bids us farewell. Before leaving, Isabella deliberately glares at me. I'm very confused. Why is she looking at me like that? I haven't done anything wrong. Theodore asks me with concern again. Are you okay? I sigh inwardly. How can I be okay? I'm inexplicably hated by someone. I'm exhausted physically and mentally. I just want to go back and get away from these conflicts. So I say seriously to them, please don't fight over me anymore. I add, watching you argue in front of me pains my heart. The priest can't help but mock me. Oh my, are you reading lines? So fake. I'm startled inwardly. How? Does he know these are lines from the romance novel I read yesterday? However, this method seems to work, because Theodore is persuaded by me. He says he won't argue with him anymore. Seeing the method works, I quietly leave while they're not paying attention, because I really don't want to be dragged into these attention-drawing situations anymore. Vivian won't allow me to do this. That evening, I'm dragged out to attend the banquet again. Fortunately, I sneak away again, while she's not paying attention. I just want to find a quiet place and comfortably eat something. But I didn't expect that in a palace this big, I'd run into him here of all places. Vivian's former fiancé. That damned cheating scumbag, Damien. He speaks first, greeting me and asking why I'm hiding here like a mouse. I instinctively stand and step back, responding nervously while maintaining distance from him. I ask hurriedly, why are you here? He doesn't answer my question but starts trying to get familiar with me, saying we almost became family. Then he starts making veiled insults. Now I'm annoyed by blondes. Redheads are more pleasing, to the eye. I curse inwardly, this scumbag. He has a wife and child yet cheated. Absolutely shameless. Not wanting to get entangled with him, I make an excuse. Miss Vivian is still waiting for me. I have to go. He scoffs mockingly. What kind of lady is Vivian? I don't like him talking about Vivian like this, so I retort bluntly. I don't want to talk with someone like you. He dismissively says, what's wrong with that? I'm speechless inwardly and turn to leave. Seeing me ignore him, he becomes furious. He reaches out to grab me, saying he hasn't finished talking. I struggle, telling him to let me go immediately, because he's hurting me. His expression suddenly changes. He's not willing to be respectful to an illegitimate daughter. I tremble in fear, thinking how terrifying his mood swings are. I struggle for him to let go. What I don't notice is that Casper is not far away, watching everything. Damien mocks me. Everyone's gossiping about your red hair. You're an illegitimate daughter, there's no doubt about it. I calculate inwardly. I definitely can't overpower him. I can only agree for now and wait for an opportunity. He then makes a sleazy suggestion for me to go find a quiet place with him to talk. I refuse frantically. I really need to go. Let me go now. Seeing me like this, he shouts, unable to bear it any longer. Enough! Why are all Eisen women so difficult? He continues slandering Vivian, saying she also acts pure, loves playing hard to get, just like a whore. How dare he say such things about Vivian? I tremble with rage. You bastard. After saying this, I grab a plate and smash it hard at him. Damien is struck down and lies motionless on the ground. Looking at him, he appears to be dead. I'm terrified out of my wits. Did I just kill someone? What do I do? What should I do now? I start pulling him frantically, my hands trembling. I need to get him out of here, but where? The guards? A hospital? And then what? Tears stream down my face as I drag him. What if everyone finds out? Images flash through my mind. People's mocking faces. The Count Eisen family's disappointed expressions. I cry harder. This is a complete nightmare. Suddenly, a familiar voice calls from behind me. Casper asks what I'm doing. I break down completely, sobbing incoherently that I've killed someone. Casper responds calmly. He's not dead. I freeze. He's alive? I can't believe my ears. Tears of relief pour out. Thank goodness he's not dead. Casper crouches down and hands me a handkerchief, gesturing for me to wipe my tears. I take it and cry into it without restraint. After crying for a while, Casper stands up and extends his hand toward me. Confused, I don't understand what he means. Following my instinct, I try to return the handkerchief. He stares at the soaked cloth and wordlessly tosses it aside. Then he reaches out again. I'm even more confused. What does this mean? Hesitantly, I extend my hand, finally realizing he wasn't asking for the handkerchief back. He explains that they won't know the full situation until a doctor examines Damien, but he should be fine. I nod, still feeling uneasy inside. He adds that I hit Damien's jaw with the plate, possibly a mild concussion. Hoisting Damien over his shoulder, he mentions that I just dragged him around, which probably added a few more injuries. I ask nervously if Damien will really be okay. Casper carries Damien away, responding coolly that people don't die that easily. Hearing this, I breathe a sigh of relief. Good. The weight lifts from my chest. In the audience hall, Damien's father angrily begins his complaints. He accuses Count Eisen's family of acting lawlessly despite the Count's favor with his majesty. The Emperor tries to calm him down, saying there must be a reason. The Eisen daughter wouldn't hurt someone without cause. He then asks me to explain what happened. Father encourages me from the side, telling me to report honestly. He believes in me. I struggle internally. I can't do it. I can't tell them what Damien said about Vivian. Damien seizes the opportunity to mock me, saying my silence proves my guilt. Damien's mother demands to know how the Countess raised her daughter. Countess Eisen responds firmly that regardless of what others say, Cecilia must have had a reason. She believes in me. My heart swells with emotion. I never expected the Countess to defend me like this. The Countess strikes back, asking if it's like when their precious son got hit with a bottle by Vivian. The atmosphere in the hall instantly becomes tense. No one dares speak. A servant announces that Duke Casper Ashford requests an audience. My heart jumps. Why would the Duke come here? The Emperor frowns, instructing the servant to tell him he's busy and to come back later. The servant replies that the Duke says his matter relates to what his majesty is currently handling. The Emperor considers, then allows him in. Since Cecilia won't speak, they might as well hear what someone else has to say. Panic rises in me. What will he say? Will he reveal the truth? Casper enters the hall and bows. He greets his majesty. The Emperor smiles, inviting Casper closer and asking what he has to say. Casper approaches the Emperor, glancing at me along the way with an expression I can't quite read. He kneels and announces that he has committed a crime and requests punishment. His words shock everyone. He claims he was actually the one who struck Damien. The hall erupts in gasps. Everyone stares at him in disbelief. I'm too stunned to speak. Why would he take the blame? For me? The Emperor is equally surprised, asking if the Duke is joking. His Majesty immediately orders everyone else to leave so he can speak with the Duke privately. Father and the others escort me out of the hall, my mind full of questions and confusion. I wonder to myself why he would take the blame. It's unbelievable. Outside the hall, Countess Eisen comforts me, saying everything will be fine. She gently tells me not to worry too much and to trust his majesty. After a long while, Casper finally emerges from the hall. He apologizes for keeping everyone waiting. Damien's parents rush forward, demanding to know what he meant by his statement. After all, their son collapsed. Of course they're worried. Casper gets straight to the point. He states bluntly that he's the one who knocked out Damien. He explains that he happened to see Damien approaching Miss Cecilia. Miss Cecilia was eating alone in the garden when Damien provoked her unilaterally. Although Miss Cecilia ignored him, Damien still advanced and grabbed her arm and shoulder, attempting to threaten her. Fearing for the lady's safety, I couldn't just stand by. Damien's father jumps up, protesting that Miss Cecilia must have said something to provoke his son. Casper responds that he also acted impulsively when he saw the lady being threatened, so he hopes the Marquis can understand. Damien's father is left speechless, his face alternating between pale and flushed. I admire his argument internally. Flawless logic with no gaps. Casper stands and addresses everyone, saying His Majesty wishes this matter to end here. He warns that if anyone brings it up again, there will be consequences. I think to myself, truly the Empire's iron shield. So intimidating. Casper turns to me. Miss Cecilia, let's talk. I respond internally that I've been waiting for this. Just as I'm about to follow him and ask about his intentions, Father and Countess Eisen call out worriedly. Seeing their concerned faces, I smile and reassure them not to worry. I'll be right back. Following Casper to a quiet spot, I speak first. I ask in confusion why he took the blame for me. Casper responds coolly that we're even now. I'm completely confused, not understanding what he means. I blurt out, so that wandering hand was yours? He quickly protests, asking why I would think that. He meant that he saw me in trouble but didn't help. He adds that he thought it was my private matter and shouldn't interfere. That's why things escalated. He's sorry. I realize he feels guilty for not stopping Damien earlier. I'm touched, but even so, he didn't need to take the blame for me. Just as I'm feeling confused, Casper suddenly speaks. His tone's somewhat unnatural, telling me not to make that expression again. It puts people in a difficult position. I'm completely lost. What expression? Which expression? I rush to a glass door to check my reflection, having no idea what he means. That night, lying in bed, I feel grateful. If the Duke hadn't taken the blame, I'd definitely be punished. Exhaustion washes over me and I drift into deep sleep. When I wake again, I find Casper quietly reading nearby. I understand. I've spirit projected again. I instinctively rub my eyes, the motion natural, not like when I'm soulbound. Lifting my hand, I suddenly realize these aren't the bear's paws. They're my hands! Shocked, I turn to look at Casper, my heart skipping a beat. Incredible, this time I didn't soulbind to the stuffed bear. I reach out to touch the bear, but it shows no response whatsoever. Confused, I wonder what's happening. I clearly touched it. I celebrate internally. Finally, I won't be mistaken for a demon anymore. I'm free. Casper looks at the bear, asking how long it plans to sleep. I think to myself that he's formed this habit after just a few days. I worry slightly. The bear has been motionless for so long. Will he become suspicious? Casper looks over and comments that when I sleep, I look just like a stuffed bear. I respond internally. That's because ice a stuffed bear right now. Casper gets up from the bed. I wonder what he's doing. He pulls out a ribbon from a drawer, the pattern particularly striking. Looking closer, I realize the ribbon is embroidered with the royal family's exclusive pattern. Holding the ribbon, he walks toward the bed with steady steps. He gently ties this royal ribbon around the stuffed bear. I think to myself that anyone seeing this would think he's lost his mind. Casper picks up the bear carefully, telling it that this suits it better. When I was soulbound to the bear, I never noticed. He's surprisingly attentive. He really values this stuffed bear, even choosing such a special ribbon for it. Casper carefully places the bear back on the bed. He touches the burned spot on the bear, asking if it got sick because of this. I knew it. If the bear doesn't wake up, he'll definitely find it strange. So I reluctantly decide to soulbind to it. I suddenly sit up in the bear's form, accidentally bumping his chin. Casper rubs his chin and looks at me. I stand up proudly, declaring that blue definitely suits my golden fur better. Isn't it adorable? Casper can't help but comment on my mysterious confidence. I insist stubbornly that I'm just fulfilling my duty to be cute. Observing Casper's expression, I notice he doesn't look well. I suspect it's probably because of the incident with Damien. I ask him directly if something's bothering him. He doesn't seem happy. He responds coolly that it's nothing, just something that bothers his conscience. Casper explains that tonight he was at the palace discussing deserters with Theodore. That's when he saw the conflict between Damien and me. He watched me pick up the plate and throw it at Damien. Shocked that I would do such a thing, he thought about stopping me. But when he got closer, he saw me crying. He froze on the spot. He had thought that even if someone died in front of me, I'd remain indifferent. He feels guilty that if he'd intervened earlier, I wouldn't have experienced that. I suggest that if he feels bad about it, he could give a gift to apologize. He objects that, given their history, a gift might be misunderstood. I quickly explain that he's giving it to comfort her. She won't misunderstand. I have an idea. What if he gives me to her as a gift? Casper immediately refuses, saying he doesn't want to get scolded. She'd probably think he's taunting her. I admit he has a point. Receiving a golden-furred, blue-eyed bear without context. I definitely see it as provocation, but now I'd accept it. Casper suddenly asks if I'm still holding a grudge. I ask in confusion, a grudge about what? About the first time I woke up asking for a hug and he threw me out the window? Or when I was chased by cats? Or when he tried to burn me while I slept? I complain that there are too many incidents. I don't know which one to mention. The moment I finish speaking, Casper picks me up. Caught completely off guard, I'm startled. My vision fills entirely with Casper's chest, making me momentarily distracted. The next second, he pulls me into a tight embrace. My whole body stiffens. What are you doing? This is so sudden! I hear Casper say calmly that since I wanted a hug, he's hugging me. He continues, saying he personally sewed up the damage from the cats. About yesterday's incident, he can apologize again. He smiles, telling me not to overthink things. No one would want this shabby, moving, creepy doll. Offended, I push away from him. What's wrong with me? How am I creepy? He lists my crimes, daring to bump into him, calling him by name, claiming to be his friend. He squeezes my bare head, saying who would like someone so improper? The stitching feels like it's about to burst. I cry out for him to be gentle. The seams are coming undone. He says with certainty that I need to stay obediently by his side. My face instantly flushes, my heart racing. That statement is way too suggestive. I steal a glance at him, and notice his ears have quietly turned red. Just then, the priest bursts in without knocking. I see him freeze, staring strangely at Casper and me, asking what we're doing. I think sarcastically that here's another arrogant person who dares call himself the Duke's friend. I hear Casper regain his composure, asking Silas what brings him here so late. Silas doesn't answer, just keeps pressing whether I'm hiding something from them. I immediately shake my head in denial. Seeing his disbelief, he rummages through his robes, pressing further. Are you sure you're not hiding anything? He pulls out a book, telling Casper that I've deceived him. He holds up the book, asking Casper if he knows what it says. Quickly flipping to a certain page, he announces he's found the key passage. I hear him read aloud about spirit projection, which usually occurs after death, but occasionally, for special reasons, it can happen to the living. He continues reading that living souls remain connected to their bodies, so they possess abundant life energy. He slaps the book, shouting that purification rituals have no effect on them. I'm shocked, speechless. How can such a record exist? This is absurd. I hear Casper frown, not understanding what this has to do with me. Silas states bluntly to Casper that I'm actually a person, a stuffed bear that moves and talks. Isn't that strange? He presents his evidence. Cecilia Eisen's burn location matches mine exactly. My heart races, just from a neck burn. She deduced this so quickly? What do I do now? Seeing Silas's triumphant expression, I frantically shout that I'm just an ordinary little bear. I'm a bear now, and I'll always be a bear. I see him roll up his sleeves, saying they'll know if it's true by testing. This time he'll burn my nose to see my reaction. I hear Casper stop him. Enough, Silas, stop this nonsense. He holds me close, gently saying he won't let anyone hurt me and to feel safe. I freeze on the spot. He actually chooses to believe me? This is so unexpected. He explains that yesterday he trusted Silas's word and burned me, and he won't make the same mistake again. I hear Silas shout in disbelief, "Casper! How can you believe it?" I look at him with delight, asking if he really believes me. His tone shifts to a warning. If there is any deception, I'd better not let him find out. He emphasizes that he'll show no mercy to anyone who deceives him. My back goes cold with fear. I'm in trouble. I have to leave tomorrow. True to my word, the next day I say goodbye to my family and leave. Before boarding the carriage, I'm still in a daze. I think to myself that I'll probably never forget everything that happened these 5 days. A voice suddenly calls out from behind. I turn around in surprise. It's Vivian! She runs over breathlessly, looking relieved that she made it in time. Without another word, she comes over saying, "Let's go, Cecilia. We'll go home together." She gets in the carriage, stretches, and says she's had enough fun after 4 days and wants to go home. I know she's lying. Yesterday, she was still having a great time. The carriage slowly starts moving. After a moment's hesitation, I say I'm sorry. Vivian immediately jokes, "Why are you suddenly apologizing?" Vivian's tone suddenly becomes serious. I'm the one who should apologize. Looking guilty, she says, "Your conflict with Damien was because of me, wasn't it?" She clenches her fists, saying she should have gone over yesterday and beaten him up herself. Looking shaken, she says, "What if Duke Casper hadn't happened to pass by?" Vivian's eyes suddenly light up. Curiously, she asks, "What kind of person is the Duke?" I freeze for a moment. Huh? Why is she suddenly asking about Duke Casper? She explains that she's always heard he's cold, but he seems different from the rumors. Actually quite nice. Listening to her, I pause, thinking he really is different. Even when it's not his fault, he still apologizes. So I answer yes. Vivian gets even more excited, asking, "Really? I knew he wasn't a bad person." I observe Vivian carefully, and notice she's in an exceptionally good mood, beaming with smiles. Watching her excited expression, a bold suspicion forms in my mind. I tentatively ask Vivian, "You haven't fallen for Duke Casper, have you?" Vivian's face instantly flushes to her ears. She shouts, Who likes him? Don't make things up. I'm just curious because people talk about him so much." Suddenly, the coachman jerks the carriage to a halt. Outside, the horses whinny anxiously. Inside the carriage, I lose my balance, my body swaying violently. Vivian quickly steadies me, anxiously asking if I'm okay. The coachman's panicked voice comes from outside. "Miss, it's bandits." The next second, his scream echoes. Coarse laughter comes from outside. A rough hand suddenly reaches through the window, heading straight for Vivian. Instinctively, I hold Vivian tight, shielding her. The bandit misses. Undeterred, he yanks the door open with a wicked grin. "Why are you hiding, ladies?" He reaches out again and grabs me, violently dragging me out. "Get out!" I struggle desperately. Another bandit grabs Vivian's arm. Vivian shouts urgently, "We're Count Eisen's daughters, stop this!" The bandit's eyes light up with greed. "Noble ladies, how generous. We picked the right carriage." I glare at the bandit, shouting for him not to touch Vivian. The bandit beside me squeezes my hand hard, barking at me to be quiet. Sharp pain shoots through me. I can't help but cry out. Vivian frantically calls my name. She stumbles forward, shouting, Stop this!" I start feeling dizzy, my vision blurring. I murmur Vivian's name. I tell myself I can't pass out here. I can't leave Vivian alone. She'll be terrified. My consciousness gradually slips away. I feel my soul slowly floating up. In spirit form, I shout for Vivian, but there's no response. I look around. Only the broken carriage remains. They've all disappeared. I float up and fly toward the distance, desperately seeking help. Back at the palace, no matter how I call out, no one passing by can hear me. Helplessly, I think that in this state, I can't do anything. Suddenly, I think of Lauren. If I can find him, there might still be hope. I can soulbind to him and tell Father about the bandits. But would Father believe such a bizarre story? Besides, this is the palace. Father can't mobilize troops on his own. I suddenly think of Duke Casper. He might be able to help. He has the authority to mobilize troops directly and can send people to search immediately. But his earlier warning flashes through my mind. Don't let him discover any deception. I silently pray, "I'm sorry, but I still need to ask for your help. As long as I can save Vivian, I'll do anything." I use all my strength to float into Casper's room, immediately rushing toward the stuffed bear on the bed, trying to soulbind to it. After successfully binding, I shout, "Casper, wake up! Wake up!" A hand suddenly grabs me. Silas holds a rope triumphantly. "I've caught you red-handed. You can't escape now." I shout, "What are you doing? Let me go. Where's Casper?" Silas says to someone across from him, "See? I told you she'd come." I look up and see Casper sitting there expressionless, looking at me coldly. My voice trembles as I call his name, hoping he'll look at me. Silas ties me up and throws me forcefully onto the floor in front of Casper. The next second, pungent oil is poured onto me. I can't help but spit. Terrified, I wonder why they're pouring oil on me. What do they want to do? Casper looks at me coldly. "Explain yourself." I'm terrified. Is he really going to burn me this time? With tears in my voice, I shout, "I'm so sorry. I'm sorry." Casper and Silas exchange surprised glances, clearly not expecting me to say this. Silas asks in confusion, "What's wrong with you? Are you admitting you're a spy?" I freeze. "A spy? What spy?" Silas says angrily, "You conspired with dark believers to curse Casper and tried to kill him." I have no idea what he means. Casper speaks. "Then why did you come here? What's your purpose?" Flustered and incoherent, tears welling up, I stammer, It's because." I cry out loudly, "Please save my sister! Please save my sister!" Casper raises an eyebrow. "Sister? I don't even know who your sister is." I quickly say, "The Eisen daughter, Vivian Eisen." I explain rapidly. "My sister and I were attacked by bandits on our way home. She was taken." Hearing this, he ponders for a moment. "The last day of the palace banquet, and a noble lady gets kidnapped by bandits? If what you're saying is true, those people probably aren't bandits." He stands up. "I think I know what's going on." Silas says in disbelief, "Wait, you believe this is Cecilia Eisen? That woman became a spirit and soul-bound to a stuffed stuffed bear. Does that even make sense? Casper ignores him and starts untying the ropes on me. He finds a cloth bag. Although her explanation has many holes, the truth itself is full of holes. He places me inside, explaining, if what she's saying is true, that lady will be in danger. We need to hurry. There's no time to waste. I poke my head out of the bag, nodding vigorously in agreement. Casper looks at me and adds quietly, besides, they're very much alike. Soon, he prepares the horses and asks me about the bandits' basic situation. His subordinate Marcus runs over to report. Captain, everyone has assembled. Hearing this, Casper mounts his horse with me. Seeing the scene before me, I think to myself that I didn't expect he could gather so many people on such short notice. Everyone seems to have a good relationship with Casper. Just then, Casper suddenly asks me, why did you come to me instead of your father? He explains, your father would do anything for his daughter, while I might refuse to help. Feeling a bit embarrassed, I say, this might sound presumptuous, but I just believe, if it's you, you'd be willing to help. Casper is silent for a moment, then simply says, is that so? He suddenly spurs his horse forward. Unprepared, my body leans backward. I cry out, why the sudden speed? So fast, I can barely hold on. Through the blur, I actually catch sight of Casper's curved smile. The cavalry rides swiftly forward, dust flying, the atmosphere tense and urgent. Someone suddenly blocks the path ahead. It's Theodore Stone. He asks, where are all of you rushing to in such a hurry? He states his position. As Princess Isabella's guard, he has a duty to monitor dangerous movements. Casper responds, your timing is perfect. Come with us. We might need your help. Casper indicates the direction. We're heading toward the southern gate. Time is of the essence. Don't delay. With that, he spurs his horse without further pause. The group arrives at the ambush site to find the carriage smashed to pieces. A subordinate discovers bloodstains and calls Casper over to look. After examining them, Casper says, looks like there was an intense struggle. Hearing this, I think to myself that it's probably my blood. Theodore catches up and presses, Duke Casper, what's going on here? Looking puzzled, he asks, are there thieves? How could this happen near the capital? Casper responds calmly, if they're doing the work of thieves, they can certainly be called thieves, but, he points to the ground, they cover their tracks, a technique used by northern tribes. Hearing this, Theodore looks displeased. You want to continue yesterday's topic? I already told you. You can't jump to conclusions, based on a few observations. Casually accusing our soldiers like this puts me in a difficult position. Casper's tone turns cold. But you've only been here 5 days, and already a noble lady has been kidnapped here. I'm filled with confusion. What does that mean? Those people aren't bandits? Why is Casper suddenly angry at Theodore? What's going on? Casper immediately orders, everyone split up and search. Expand the search area. Theodore responds calmly. If it was our soldiers, they'd probably choose the flat road. Then his tone hardens. But if it wasn't, you'll have to take responsibility for this, Duke Casper. Hearing this, I feel deeply guilty. Casper is in a difficult position again because of me. Casper notices my sad expression and forcefully pushes me back down, not letting me peek out anymore. He nods in agreement. Fine, but let me tell you, the one who was kidnapped is Count Eisen's daughter. Theodore's expression freezes. He grabs Casper's hand urgently. Miss Eisen? Which one? The older or younger sister? Casper shakes off his hand. His tone is icy. Right now, both of them are missing. He counters, which one were you hoping for? His gaze carries a hint of pressure. Theodore looks shocked, clearly not expecting both sisters to be missing. No one speaks further. They continue riding swiftly, even faster than before. They soon reach a crossroads where two paths extend in different directions. I suddenly spot something by the roadside. It must be something Vivian left behind. I struggle frantically in the bag, signaling to Casper. Go there, take the left path. Casper immediately dismounts, picks up the familiar earring, and seeing it, I nod vigorously. That's right, that's Vivian's earring, I'm absolutely sure. Casper decisively orders, take the left path. Inside the bag, I hold the earring with both hands, knowing full well, this earring was a birthday gift from Countess Eisen to Vivian. Vivian always treasured it, yet now it's lying in the dirt. I feel so guilty. I'm sorry, Vivian. This is all because of me. Please wait for me to come save you. We arrive at a place with treacherous terrain. We can't continue on horseback. Looking at the grass ahead, there are clear signs of trampling. Vivian and the others must be just ahead. Casper immediately orders, leave the horses here. We'll go on foot from here. He then looks down at me in the bag, saying he can't take me with him and to stay here. I watch their figures gradually disappear from view. My heart races with anxiety. I can't just sit here and wait. The next second, I'm suddenly forced out of the soul binding, leaving the stuffed bear's body, and the cloth bag containing the stuffed bear mysteriously catches fire. What on earth is happening? But there's no time to dwell on that now, so I immediately float up above the forest. That's when I hear Vivian's angry voice coming from below. I look down and see the bandits and the cage below. Both Vivian and my real body are inside the cage. My heart leaps with joy. I found them. Suddenly, I see a bandit reaching out to grab Vivian, trying to forcefully pull her. I immediately rush into my own body and instantly regain control. I grab the bandit's outstretched hand and bite down with all my strength. The bandit screams in pain! I shield Vivian and shout, "Don't you dare bully Vivian!" I yell at the bandits, "Hasn't the war already ended? Why are you targeting us?" The bandit looks shocked and storms over furiously. What did you say? The war ended? Ridiculous. Then he grips my neck viciously. He continues, you think we'll easily forget our people who died at the hands of you Solaris Empire scum? As suffocation sets in, I instinctively shout with all my might, Casper! The bandit mocks, you think calling him will make him come save you? The bandit continues, roaring, our homeland has already been ruined by you. Just wait and see. You'll all be sold to other countries. You're not the only ones who can plunder, he warns. Until then, you'd better stay put and not move. At this moment, another noble lady can't take it anymore and throws a shoe at him, shouting, enough! She scolds angrily. You only take out your anger on U.S. defenseless women. The bandit is enraged. You women have a death wish? As soon as he finishes speaking, the bandit is suddenly attacked from behind. He then loses consciousness and collapses. Theodore's voice comes through. Miss Cecilia, are you all right? I look up in surprise. Lord Theodore, how did you get here? He extends his hand to me. Let's get out first. It's too dangerous here. I look at his hand and think to myself, even though he came to rescue me, he somehow makes me uneasy. Before long, Casper and his group arrive at the scene. They move swiftly and subdue all the remaining bandits in no time. Then Casper walks up to me. I told you to trust me and wait patiently. He looks at me. Your face is injured. Get up first. He extends his hand with a softer tone. What just happened? We'll talk about it later. No rush. At this moment, Vivian rushes out and calls to me. She rushes over and hugs me, sobbing that I must never take such risks again. She'll worry, I say guiltily. I'm sorry, Vivian. I made you worry. Vivian suddenly remembers something. Wait, did you just call out to Casper? I hastily cough to cover it up, panicking inside. This is bad. I quickly change the subject and tell Vivian I need to speak with Lord Theodore. So I walk briskly toward him, but my legs give out and I stumble. Theodore immediately steadies me, and I quickly apologize. I'm sorry. I say guiltily, you were trying to help me, yet I avoided your hand. I'm truly sorry. Theodore responds gently, saying he understands. Then he takes off his coat. He drapes it over me and scoops me up in his arms. I ask in confusion, what are you doing? I hear him continue, but you did do something that hurt me. When I was rushing toward you, you called out someone else's name. Theodore, still carrying me, informs Casper that he'll escort me back for treatment first. Casper nods in agreement without saying a word. Not wanting Casper to misunderstand, I quickly tell Theodore I can walk on my own. But Theodore ignores me and simply continues carrying me as he turns to leave. Theodore brings me back to my room, and as soon as I lie down, my family rushes in, full of anxiety and worry. As the doctor applies medicine, I greet them while enduring the pain. Countess Eisen asks me sadly what happened. She's so distressed her legs weaken and she nearly can't stand. Alarmed, I quickly try to get up to check on her, but the movement pulls at my wounds, making me wince. Theodore quickly steadies me. Lauren also steps forward immediately and swats Theodore's hand away. I shout in surprise, Lauren, what are you doing? He questions Theodore furiously. What did you do to my sister? Theodore explains calmly. The young lady was attacked by bandits on her way home. Countess Eisen asks in confusion. Human traffickers? How could this happen? She suddenly grabs Theodore and asks, where's Vivian? Theodore reassures her. Miss Vivian is fine. I saw Miss Cecilia was seriously injured, so I brought her back first. Countess Eisen comes to her senses and hurries over to me, apologizing. She was just too worried seeing that Vivian didn't return with me. I see the guilt in Countess Eisen's expression and think to myself that she doesn't need to feel sorry at all. It's only natural for parents to worry about their own children. How could I be jealous of Vivian over something like this? The doctor begins giving my family detailed instructions on how to care for me. Father suddenly asks in puzzlement, but how did Duke Casper know they were in trouble? His response was so quick, it's as if he knew beforehand they would be kidnapped. My heart sinks. Oh no, what do I do? Father is starting to suspect something. I panic inside. Even if I explain, who would believe what I say? Theodore suddenly says quietly, I also find it very strange. He holds my hand and says it's as if everything was rehearsed in advance. After saying this, he gently kisses the back of my hand, his eyes probing. My heart skips a beat. It must be because I called out Casper's name that made him suspicious. Theodore continues pressing me. Was this something you planned together? I hastily try to explain, but Theodore interrupts. Since the young lady's family is here, I'll take my leave. Before leaving, he says with a face full of suspicion. I trust you. I watch his retreating figure. Judging from his expression, he doesn't believe me at all. I groan inwardly. Casper, now you can't clear your name even if you tried. That night, I leave my body again through spirit projection and sit on the windowsill in a daze. Thinking to myself, who would voluntarily get kidnapped? What is Theodore thinking? At this moment, the door is thrown open, and Casper walks in with a dark expression. I instinctively call out his name, but he suddenly punches the wall. I'm scared out of my wits. He's truly angry. I hear him mutter through clenched teeth they dared to escape and even set fire to destroy the evidence. I quickly defend myself. No, he's misunderstanding me. I wonder to myself, is he blaming me for acting on my own without waiting for him to return? Or is it because his sister's keepsake was burned? I feel so wronged inside. That wasn't me. I see Casper starting to take off his coat. I quickly cover my face, not daring to look directly. I think to myself, the scene feels awkwardly familiar somehow. I tell myself I must explain clearly and can't let him keep misunderstanding. But the stuffed bear has been burned. What reason can I use to stay here? It seems I'll have to temporarily use soul binding on something else. At this moment, Casper is still staring at the bag that held the bear, deep in thought. Suddenly, there's a sound from outside the window. Casper immediately approaches the window with vigilance. I carelessly bump into the window frame and touch my forehead, thinking, unless absolutely necessary, I really don't want to use soul binding on small animals. I gather my courage and fly in front of him, shouting, I was wrong. I'm truly sorry. Hearing this, Casper immediately realizes I'm that stuffed bear. I try my best to assume a respectful posture, as if kneeling, with a very sincere attitude, and so I successfully enter the room. Casper stares at me and tells me to explain why I use soul binding on the stuffed bear. I stammer, not knowing how to begin. Do I really have to start from the beginning? I clear my throat. It happened when I was 6 years old. I recall at that time I rolled down from a very high staircase and was unconscious for a month. I was young then, so I don't remember many details clearly. Anyway, ever since then, whenever I fall asleep or lose consciousness, I experience spirit projection, and I can also use soul binding on animals and people like this. Casper raises an eyebrow in surprise. Soul binding? You can enter people's people's bodies? I explain that I can only use soul binding on those with weak will, and can only hold on for about 3 hours at most. I conclude, that's why I've loved taking walks at night since I was little. I recall that night, I originally planned to just wander around the palace and then return to my guest room to rest because I was staying upstairs. I was curious who was staying downstairs, so I followed down. Then I saw the bag on the bed with that stuffed bear inside. I just lightly tapped it, and I was sucked inside. Ever since then, whenever I fell asleep, I would wake up inside the bear and couldn't just leave freely. I emphasized strongly that stuffed bear really wasn't normal. It was too strange. Then I asked curiously, why did you call that stuffed bear Alice? Casper is silent for a moment, then asks back, if I told you I've seen a ghost, would you believe me? He says slowly, in one battle, I nearly died on the battlefield. The situation was critical. To save my superior, I was stabbed through the ribs and hovered between life and death. The front lines lacked medical supplies and medicine. I could only lie there recovering from my wounds. And later I had a constant high fever. Suddenly I felt someone stroking my forehead, and the pain in my body lessened considerably. When I opened my eyes, it was my deceased sister, Alice. I'm shocked, but didn't your sister pass away? He says with certainty, without a doubt. The person before me was my sister. At first I thought she was going to take me with her, but that wasn't the case. The next day, I recovered from the crisis and woke up, and that little bear was in my arms. He reflects, from that moment on, I vaguely felt that my sister was inside the stuffed bear. Then Casper turns to ask me, so you didn't use soul binding on the stuffed bear voluntarily? I ask excitedly. You're willing to believe me? That's wonderful, he says calmly. During the long war, I've seen too many spies. I can tell truth from lies, and that you disguised yourself as a doll for safety. I can understand that. Casper scratches my head teasingly. You've become much more respectful after your identity was revealed, I say embarrassedly, because when I was the stuffed bear, we were friends. Casper raises an eyebrow and replies, no matter the circumstances, you can't treat a 28-year-old man as a friend. I say with grievance, I don't have friends. So I misunderstood. Before I can finish, Casper suddenly grabs me. He says in a gentle tone, I'm not being nice to you because that was Alice's stuffed bear. I'm kind to you because I like the way you speak. He adds, it's you as a person who I find interesting, different from others. Early the next morning, Vivian and I go to see the Emperor to explain the situation. Vivian instructs me to just stay to the side and not speak. She adds that she'll answer questions directed at me. I don't need to worry. I reply, actually, there's no need. I can answer myself. As soon as I finish, the palace doors slowly open, and the two of us walk in side by side. I look around. There are many people in the hall. Casper is there too. I'm full of confusion. Did they call us here to testify about yesterday's incident? Why does the atmosphere here feel tense and heavy? Casper reports to the Emperor that it was a servant who informed him of the noble lady's kidnapping, which prompted him to search. The Emperor asks angrily, who exactly is this servant he mentioned? How could he discover the kidnapping so quickly? Hearing this, my stomach drops. Why is His Majesty questioning the Duke so angrily? I worry silently. Could it be that my asking him for help made him a suspect? I'm filled with guilt. He's in a difficult position again because of me. So I gather my courage and speak up, Your Majesty. May I say something? The Emperor raises his hand to signal permission, telling me to speak since I'm one of the parties involved. I think to myself, telling the truth won't convince anyone. It seems I'll have to lie. I take a deep breath and begin explaining. The Duke got involved in this matter because of me. It was I who initiated a meeting with His Grace, because the incident with Lord Damien the other day left me unsettled, so I decided to return home early. That matter caused His Grace a lot of trouble. I felt it would be wrong to leave without saying goodbye, so I arranged to meet the Duke at Laurel Garden, to thank him in person, who knew Vivian would decide at the last minute to return home with me. So I didn't meet the Duke. I suppose the Duke, seeing that I never arrived, began investigating. The Emperor asks, then why didn't you two sisters meet the Duke together? I look up and explain, you should know I'm not the legitimate daughter of the Eisen family. At the time, I didn't think much and arranged to meet the Duke, but later realized that meeting a man privately would damage the family's reputation. Moreover, as an illegitimate daughter, I must be even more careful with my words and actions. The previous day's incident already had people gossiping about me. At that moment, I needed to be more careful and not cause more trouble. Though I'm used to such scandals, I didn't want Vivian to become the subject of gossip as well. The Emperor thinks for a moment and finds my explanation reasonable. Hearing this, I'm overjoyed inside. Success! I've finally helped Casper out of this predicament. After receiving the explanation, the Emperor doesn't linger long. This terrifying interrogation scene finally ends. In the corridor, I look at the angry Casper and say, you don't need to specially thank me. Casper is clearly stunned. He asks me what I'm talking about. I say seriously, all along, you've been silently protecting me. I say firmly, so this time, it's my turn. Cecilia Eisen will protect you. Casper is taken aback. He asks why my tone suddenly became so casual. I blurt out, because I like you. There's nothing to hide. Casper begins to regret, damn, I shouldn't have said those things yesterday. I recall last night when he said I as a person find interesting. I was both delighted and surprised at the time. Me? You're really talking about me? I hear him continue, although Cecilia Eisen is indeed somewhat annoying, but seeing you in the garden yesterday, I was full of confusion. He admits, I actually felt you and that stuffed bear were very similar. So when you revealed your identity, I wasn't that surprised. And, he adds, I believe the stuffed bear showed the real you, though we've only known each other for a few days. I already consider you family, so when I see you getting into trouble or feeling discouraged, it hurts me. He says others might think I'm crazy hearing this, but that's how I feel. I'm shocked. Does this mean you consider me family? My heart races. Really? Casper, you don't dislike me? After receiving his tacit approval, I happily leap toward him. Ah, Casper. So it's not just me who feels this way. I'm also especially happy being with him. This whole time I thought he disliked me, so I kept hiding my feelings. I always hoped he wouldn't just see me as that little bear. Casper catches me and says helplessly, you get too excited too easily. Whether it's it's hitting the Marquise's son on the head or directly fighting with kidnappers. He complains, you always charge forward recklessly without thinking twice. I happily nod repeatedly in admission. That's right. I'm too impulsive. Seeing me so happy, Casper asks in confusion what I'm laughing about. I answer, because no one has ever nagged me like this. He emphasizes, I'm being angry, but I respond, I like hearing it, because I know Casper says this out of concern for me, just like now. Then he changes the subject and asks how I could sleep in the same bed with a strange man. He complains that I should have at least told him beforehand that I'm a girl. I explain because I trust you wouldn't have bad intentions. He retorts, who would have bad intentions toward a stuffed bear? I think to myself, that's right. Casper is a good person, cold on the outside but warm on the inside. So I gather my courage and confess, I like you, Casper, I really like you. He freezes, clearly not expecting me to confess at this moment. I continue seriously, please take care of me. This is Cecilia Eisen's sincere heart. He's about to say something when Father and Vivian walk over. Vivian says they've come to take me home. I see Father's expression isn't good. I think to myself, is Father still angry? Has the misunderstanding not been cleared? But Casper and I haven't finished talking yet. Casper looks at me and says softly that he'll wait for me. I can come find him after I fall asleep. He instructs, don't wander around as a spirit. Use soul binding on something. I nod happily. We can meet again tonight. I'll be obedient. After Casper leaves, I follow Father as he departs. I think to myself, I clearly explained well. Why is Father still angry? I gather my courage and speak, Father, there's something I want to tell you. But Father interrupts me, saying he understands everything. He trusts that I had my reasons for doing what I did. Then he turns seriously and instructs me not to get too close to Duke Casper in the future. I freeze on the spot. Duke Casper? Why bring him up suddenly? Father explains, I trust you, but I cannot trust the man who made you lie. I'm shocked. Father knows I was lying, so I bow my head apologetically, then say I cannot agree to his request. I argue earnestly you can truly trust Casper's character. Father raises his voice. Why are you so stubborn? I don't back down, saying his grace would never harm me. Seeing my persistence, Father tells me not to go out after returning home. After returning to my room, I become downcast. Vivian sits by the bed, saying we'll probably depart for home in the evening. She suggests I take a nap first. I look at her questioningly. Vivian, you're not angry, are you? She immediately denies it, then asks what my relationship with the Duke is. She says she's simply curious what we were talking about alone. Then, as if realizing something, she says guiltily that she's being nosy. I recall yesterday, Vivian was particularly concerned about Casper in the carriage. I wonder to myself, could she genuinely like Casper? At this moment, Lauren speaks up, saying Casper is actually quite good. He praises him for being cautious and, most importantly, valuing his subordinates' lives. Noticing our gaze, he asks in confusion, why are you both staring at me like that? Vivian responds that she suddenly remembered he was a knight apprentice. Lauren says self-deprecatingly, I'm not a knight now. Feel free to mock me. Hearing this, I immediately retort, what's wrong with not being a knight? There are other professions. I say seriously, there's no need to force yourself. You should have your own path to follow. Lauren looks at me in surprise. Why are you saying the same thing as Casper? I'm surprised. Me? I said the same thing as him? Then I can't help but laugh. Vivian and Lauren look at me in delight, saying I just laughed? That's amazing. After they leave, with the gentle breeze from the window, I drift off to sleep. After spirit projection, I use soul binding on a sparrow again. I fly to the window and discover it's actually open. It must have been Casper who opened it for me. I think mischievously, should I take this chance to tease him? So I flap my wings and quietly fly toward Casper. But before I can startle him, his large hand catches me. Casper's voice comes, asking when I arrived. I lie weakly on his shoulder and say I just wanted to greet him. He suddenly says, that's right, we haven't finished our conversation. I'm secretly pleased. Is he finally going to praise my performance before the Emperor? He gently places me on the table and tells me to sit down and listen carefully. He holds down my little bird head, telling me to be obedient and not move. Then he folds my legs and lifts my wings up. I'm thoroughly confused. Why does this feel like punishment? He says bluntly, you guessed right. Reflect on your actions. I fly over angrily. Why should I reflect? I didn't do anything wrong. He holds my beak and asks back, is this the mouth you're asking with? I huff indignantly and call him a jerk. I say with grievance, I gathered all my courage for you. How can you treat me like this? He says mercilessly, why did you stick your neck out? You had no evidence to support yourself. I told you before, the better the lie, the more it sounds like one. Now I finally understand why Father doesn't want me getting too close to Casper. It's all because of this lie I fabricated. I feel terribly guilty. I cover my face and apologize through sobs. I was wrong. Casper responds lightly, as long as you know you were wrong. Hearing my crying, he opens his eyes and asks, you're not crying, are you? I apologize through tears. I'm truly sorry for causing you trouble. I raise my voice. I'm an idiot. It's all my fault. He hurriedly soothes me. Don't cry. It's all right, he says gently. It's not that serious. Don't take it to heart. I think to myself, this flustered reaction isn't what I wanted. He explains, I was just scaring you, so I exaggerated a bit. He admits awkwardly, and seeing you stand up for me, I was actually a bit happy. I ask excitedly, really? You're not lying to me? Casper turns away embarrassedly, his ears beginning to redden. Then he says seriously, no one has ever tried to help me out of danger before. He says softly, this is a warmth I've never experienced. Hearing this, I'm thrilled. My face starts to flush as I ask if it's true. Casper confirms yes. I flap my wings and shout in delight, wow, you smiled. Though the reaction wasn't what I expected, he seems to have calmed down. At this moment, Silas suddenly pushes the door open and asks what Casper is doing. I'm startled. My wings almost stop flapping. Casper, cupping me in his hands, frowns and tells Silas to knock next time. Silas shrugs it off. With our relationship, there's no need to be formal. He walks over, notices me and asks, is that a bird? I glare at him, thinking, this priest is such a jerk. Then I become curious about what he's hiding behind him. So mysterious. At this moment, Silas shows off like presenting a treasure. Look what I found! He produces a bear that looks just like the previous one and says, with this, you should calm down, right? Seeing the bear, I'm instantly frightened. What's going on? Wasn't it burned? So I pounce and peck at it, demon. Stay away from me. Silas quickly shields it. Don't damage it. This is a doll my mother made. Casper grabs me and I stop. Silas explains, this is a doll sold by our family's shop. I see, I respond somewhat embarrassedly. Casper presses down on my head, signaling me to apologize. So I bow to Silas following the pressure to apologize. This doll is a shop sample? No wonder it looks so familiar, so it's quite common? Silas denies it. No, actually we haven't started selling them yet. We only made 15 samples and gave them to noble families with young girls. I recall, the Eisen family might have been one of them. Because I feel like I've seen this doll somewhere before. Silas says, I searched through my family's warehouse and finally found this with great difficulty. He suggests giving it to me to make soul binding easier. I'm suspicious. Why is he suddenly being so kind? There must be a catch. So I immediately refuse. I don't want it. And I peck his hand. Silas winces in pain, holding his injured finger trembling. Then I actually hear him say sorry. I'm shocked. Oh my, this person actually apologized to me? He says awkwardly. To be honest, I still don't think I did anything wrong. For me, Casper's safety is the most important thing, he says guiltily. But you went through all those things because of me. My conscience won't let it go. Then he actually recounts all the embarrassing moments I experienced. I catch Casper holding back laughter on the side and protest, you're not allowed to make fun of me. Hearing this, Casper forces himself to hold back his laughter. Then he gets up, saying he'll prepare tea. Silas scratches my belly and says in dissatisfaction, how can you still be so insolent toward me, a priest? I ask back, you don't want me to call you that? How about arsonist? I deliberately provoke him, or murderer, or maybe jerk is better. Silas turns away speechless. I change the subject and ask how long he's been a priest. He recalls, I started around 16 or 17, I think. I press on. Is the work as a cathedral volunteer all right? Casper brings over tea and picks up the conversation, asking if I want to enter the cathedral. I say honestly, after Vivian gets married, I'll go work as a volunteer at the cathedral. Casper asks in confusion, why? He says bluntly, I don't recommend you go to the cathedral. It's not suitable for you. I ask indignantly, why? Because I look too fierce? Silas says guiltily, why do you still remember that? I answer, I'm not stupid. Silas retorts, why are you only calling me out? Didn't Casper say the same thing? I answer, because I also used to think Casper was scary. Silas touches his face, do I look that scary? I quickly explain, but I later discovered Casper is not only handsome, but also a really good person. Casper says guiltily, I actually frightened you unintentionally. I need to reflect on that. He says in confusion, I just wanted my words and actions to match my status. Does that seem scary to you? Then he clears his throat and starts asking again why I want to go to the cathedral. I take the opportunity to press. Come to think of it, you also owe me an explanation. I say indignantly, you falsely accused me of being a spy. I accuse you wronged an innocent person. You should at least explain. Casper explains that when he inspected the room, he found a secret space in the ceiling. When I went up, I found it was full of dark believer items. There were half-burned candles, animal bones, writings in blood, and goblets filled with blood. And these are all evil items that only the Frosthold Kingdom would use. Hearing this, I'm confused. But when I went there on the first day, there was nothing there. Then I hear him say he also found poison in the water glass he used. Hearing this, I exclaim, what? Are you alright physically? Casper reassures me, saying he's fine and not to worry. He admits frankly, the only thing related to dark believers around me was you, that moving stuffed bear. He apologizes, it was my fault for wronging you. I'm sorry. Silas suddenly asks me, you knew about the secret space in the ceiling? I explain that I saw it when coming down from above. He's shocked you can pass through walls? I ask back. Wouldn't coming in through the door be even more frightening? He thinks about it, that's true. How miraculous. I ask, aren't you curious what a spirit looks like? Silas answers that he can't imagine it at all. I lie down and say, when people touch a spirit, they feel a cool chill. Silas exclaims, this is all actually real. How terrifying. But Casper says with a smile that he finds this useful information. Now he can tell whether I'm around or not. I think to myself, it seems Casper still can't let go of me sneaking into his room. Casper continues pressing, so why exactly do you want to enter the cathedral? I say helplessly, Casper, you're really persistent. Casper sighs because the cathedral keeps taking away people important to me. I don't want to yield anymore. He persuades, working as a volunteer in the cathedral makes even going out difficult. I answer, I know all this. It's just that, an illegitimate daughter. No one will marry someone like me. I have no choice but to enter the cathedral. Casper continues trying to persuade me. You can do other things. You don't have to go to the cathedral. Then he gives Silas a look, telling him to help persuade me. Silas speaks up and complains, the food at the cathedral is terrible, and the conditions are especially poor. I sigh. If there were another path, I might consider it. Suddenly, I notice outside the window. The sky has darkened. I'm startled. I need to hurry back. I hastily fly away to say goodbye, saying I need to go home. See you next time. Casper calls after me, next time? When will that be? I answer while flying away. Another day. We'll meet again soon. At the Eisen estate, I stare out the window feeling empty inside. I'm so bored. Being confined like this feels exactly like being a princess locked in a tower. Countess Eisen reminds me from the side that I need to lie down and rest properly until I'm fully recovered. I protest inwardly. Actually, I feel great right now. I could run around all day. Then a sudden idea strikes me. I pretend to be tired and say, I'm a bit exhausted. Can I sleep for a while? Countess Eisen reluctantly stands up and tells me to rest well and to call her anytime I need something. She adds that Vivian will be back soon, so I won't be too lonely. I lie down thinking, now sleep is my only excuse to have some time alone. I've finished all the books in the room. There's really nothing left to do. Suddenly, I notice the window is open. How did that happen? And there are footsteps. Could someone be coming through the window in broad daylight? Oh no, a thief! What are the guards doing? I hold my breath, listening as the footsteps gradually fade away. I steel my resolve. This is my chance. Seizing the moment, I grab the blanket. I throw it hard toward the dark figure. I press down firmly on the blanket and shout, "Got you! You bold thief! How dare you break into my room!" Then I shout desperately toward the door, "There's a thief in here! Someone come quickly!" But the next second, my mouth is covered. The person urgently whispers, "I'm really not a thief." He explains frantically, "Duke Casper sent me. Please calm down." Seeing that I've calmed down, he releases his hand. When I see who it is, I relax. "Lord Marcus? What are you doing here?" Marcus is very surprised I recognize him. I feel nervous because when I met him, I was still in the stuffed bear's body. I ask in confusion, "If Casper sent you, why not use the front door? Why come through the window? This is the second floor. Why did Duke Casper send you here?" Marcus looks around and says, "Casper told me to take something from your room back with me." I stare wide-eyed in shock. "Take my things? What does he want them for?" Marcus explains, "Anything will do as long as it's yours." I think to myself, Casper sent him to steal something? How strange. Marcus reassures me not to be nervous. "When the captain rescued you, I could tell your relationship wasn't ordinary." My cheeks heat up. "Our relationship isn't ordinary?" Marcus winks suggestively. "You two are dating, aren't you?" I retort seriously. "He's my most important friend." Marcus nods knowingly. "Then can I take something?" "The captain said he'd use it as an excuse to come see you again." I understand instantly, so he wants a reason to come see me. Marcus points to a book on the table and asks, "Can I take this book? This one is perfect." I reply, "All right then, take this one back to him." Suddenly, Vivian's voice comes from outside the door, asking if I'm not sleeping. I freeze in fright. "Vivian? How does she get back so quickly?" Fortunately, Marcus disappears by the time Vivian enters. Vivian happily tells me there's a visitor at home. I ask curiously, "A visitor? Who would specifically come to see me?" Vivian teases me, "Lord Theodore would be so disappointed to hear that." I ask in confusion, "You mean Lord Theodore is here? What's he doing here?" Vivian says with a smile that she doesn't know either. She's quite curious too. Then she tells me to hurry up and get ready to come down. I mutter, "They can just chat with each other. Why do I have to go down?" A voice comes from under the bed. Marcus crawls out and asks what my relationship with Theodore is. I jump in fright. He actually hid under the bed? But Marcus suddenly turns serious and tells me to be careful of Theodore Stone. He explains, "On the battlefield, he led assassination squads. He's ruthless. He seems friendly on the surface, but he's actually extremely cruel." I nod, I see. "Thank you for the warning. I'll be careful." Marcus asks teasingly if Casper and I are really just friends. I ask strangely, "Are there impure friend relationships?" Marcus laughs heartily, saying that seeing my expression puts his mind at ease. Then he suddenly kisses me. I freeze in shock. I hear him say with a laugh, "I've chosen you. I'll show you what an impure relationship is." Then, holding the book, he prepares to leave through the window, saying he'll deliver it properly to the captain. He jumps out the window, leaving me stunned in place. When I come to my senses, my face turns bright red. What is that man doing? That was so sudden. In the reception room, Vivian asks what I'm thinking about. I don't seem to be listening to them at all. I hastily snap back and apologize, saying I was indeed a bit distracted just now. Vivian leans in to examine me, asking if I'm feeling unwell. I deny it, thinking that what just happened was too shocking. I can't concentrate. Theodore suddenly places his cool palm on my forehead to check my temperature. I stiffen all over in alarm. He withdraws his hand and says I seem to have a slight fever, suggesting I should go rest first. Hearing this, Vivian immediately becomes anxious and rushes to fetch a doctor. I quickly call out to her, "I'm really fine." But Vivian has already gone, leaving Theodore and me alone here. Being alone with him like this is really awkward. I quickly change the subject and ask the purpose of his visit today. He says with a smile in his eyes that he's naturally here to visit the sick. He adds gently, "In 10 years, before we become friends, you need to be healthy." I stare in shock. 10 years? He actually remembered that joke so clearly. I quickly dodge the topic, look at my energy. I'm perfectly healthy. I'll head back to my room now, seeing I have no intention of continuing the conversation. Theodore suddenly grabs my hand. I instinctively struggle. He asks with a hurt tone, "Does talking with me make you uncomfortable? You always avoid me." I reply somewhat awkwardly, "It's not that. I'm just not used to it." I explain seriously, "We have no relationship to begin with. Meeting often will lead to gossip." I try to pull my hand back. This kind of physical contact is really inappropriate, but he takes the opportunity to grip my hand tighter and asks what kind of bad rumors I mean. He says with amusement in his eyes, "But I don't dislike those kinds of rumors." He asks softly, "Does my closeness really trouble you?" I pull my hand back forcefully, but he persists, asking if I don't actually dislike meeting with him, right? I complain inwardly. This is so burdensome. How could I not dislike it? Seeing him like this, he'll keep bothering me in the future. I have no choice but to gesture for him to sit down. I think to myself, I need to make this clear now to avoid more trouble later. So I gather my courage and say, "You actually like Vivian, don't you?" I speak bluntly. You might as well confess directly. Don't use me as an excuse. Theodore stares in shock and asks why I would think that. I say matter-of-factly, because every time you come, you chat with Vivian for a long time before leaving. He explains helplessly, "That's only because you're always so silent." His eyes are serious. "I truly came specifically to see you today." I stand there stunned. He likes me, not Vivian? I shout inwardly. That's impossible. How could that be? I recall our first meeting when I mistook him for the estate's gardener. I even bluntly refused to be friends and ran away to avoid him. I express that I still can't understand. Vivian has a better personality than me and is prettier. How could you like me? Theodore speaks gently, saying that when he sees me, he always thinks of someone. I ask curiously, "Think of someone? Who exactly?" He says with gentle eyes, "Like you, she had red hair. More than appearance, you both share the same kind and pure heart." He reflects, "People are selfish, yet you always uphold your principles. Seeing you like this reminds me of her." Then he stands and adds, "You're not anyone's shadow. You and she have different personalities." He explains softly, "She once rode across battlefields. Her spirit was bolder than any man's, but sadly she passed away long ago." Then he crouches down and searches through his pockets. He pulls out a wooden locket and says he'll he looks at her face every day. I lean in curiously to look closely. I discover it looks nothing like me. The woman in the picture looks more heroic. He says with complete seriousness in his eyes, "Perhaps you don't know how beautiful you are." Then he slowly lifts his head and gazes at me seriously. He lifts a strand of my red hair with his fingertips and says, "I've fallen in love with you." Then he gently kisses my hair. He leans closer and closer, his breath brushing my face. He asks if he can kiss me. Seeing his lips getting closer and closer, I panic and hastily push his face away. I stand up with a flushed face and shout, "Absolutely not." I think to myself, is he crazy? I tremble all over in fright. Do northern people just kiss others so casually? How disrespectful. Theodore quickly stands and apologizes, saying he just couldn't help himself. I snort coldly with displeasure all over my face. "This is outrageous. I need to rest. Please leave." After saying this, I turn and leave quickly. This person actually asked if he could kiss me? Absolutely ridiculous. I criticize inwardly all the way. Are all northern people this casual? At that time, I knew nothing about the northern concept of free love. Night quietly falls. I sneak to the palace to see if Casper is there. Seeing the palace is quiet and empty, I sit on a tree branch thinking, has he already returned to the ducal estate? Suddenly, I catch sight of a stuffed bear on the corner of the table. My eyes instantly light up. My form becomes light and I float over. I lean in to look closely. I notice the ribbon on the bear looks familiar. Did Casper place it there on purpose? My heart feels sweet. How adorable. He's definitely waiting for me. Seeing the window is tightly closed, I have no choice but to pass through the wall. After successfully passing through, I immediately dive into the stuffed bear and successfully use soul binding. My eyes shine with surprise. Wow, this actually works. Has my soul binding ability improved? Just as I'm proudly waving my little bear paws and spinning in circles, I suddenly hear the sound of the door being gently pushed open. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Casper pushing the door open. I quickly sit up straight obediently and hold my breath, planning to take advantage of when he's not paying attention to me. I quietly prepare to give him a big scare, but his reaction is astonishingly fast. He reaches out and grabs my little bear body in one swift motion. I wave my short little paws and struggle desperately, telling him to let me go. Hearing my voice, he belatedly realizes it's me. He chuckles and asks when I arrived and how I ended up in the doll again. I rub my little bear face and respond frankly because this one is so cute. I just didn't expect it was a trap. Then I lift the bear's arm to reveal the burn marks. This was burned before. I complain with grievance. I can't get out. I mutter, I came in because it looked cute, and now I've been tricked. Casper raises an eyebrow with a smile. I came all the way from home especially. It's quite a distance. I huff proudly, yes, because someone missed me. He teases me deliberately. You should go to the person who misses you. You went to the wrong place. Tears well up as I turn and ask, didn't you have your subordinate take my things because you wanted to see me? Casper says strangely, but Marcus didn't say he saw you? I freeze in surprise and ask if he already talked with Lord Marcus. I suddenly remember that Marcus actually kissed me the very first time we met. How incredibly rude. And Lord Theodore. Today was absolutely outrageous. Thinking about this, my face reddens again. Then I ask hesitantly if Casper has ever kissed anyone. He's clearly taken aback and asks why I'm suddenly asking this. I ask curiously, do northern people kiss so casually? Casper explains, it's different from the Solaris Empire. Their approach to romance is more free. I'm shocked. Do they get engaged and break up so easily? He shakes his head. They don't have the concept of engagement there. Before marriage, they're all called lovers. I've heard couples often have children together. Hearing this, I'm even more shocked. I can't believe it. Breaking up is a big deal. They just separate if they're incompatible? This is outrageous. It completely overturns everything I know. I frown, and having children before marriage? Aren't those illegitimate children? Suddenly a voice comes from outside the door. Someone shouts, "Captain!" I feel this voice is flippant and familiar. I see Marcus push the door open. My stomach drops. I hear him shout with a laugh. His Majesty issued extra bonuses. Everyone's thrilled. They all can't wait to rush to the tavern to celebrate. He enthusiastically invites Casper, asking if he wants to go together. Hearing this, Casper glances back at me. He shields me firmly behind him and replies that he'll come over in a bit. Tell them to go ahead. But Marcus persists, saying it won't be fun without him. Come with them now. The noise gives me a headache. I think to myself, Casper, make him leave. At this moment, Marcus finally notices me, huh? Is that a stuffed bear? He steps forward with a face full of surprise. I didn't expect there'd be a doll in Casper's room. I tremble in fright, shouting inwardly, don't come closer. Stay away from me. He examines me and says with all these patches, I look like a cursed doll. Just as he's about to reach out and pick me up, Casper scolds him sharply. He tells him not to talk nonsense. Marcus turns in fright and asks why he's suddenly scolding him. Casper's expression is serious as he tells him to change his flippant attitude. He says seriously, what you see as junk may be very important to someone else. He admonishes Marcus to always watch his words and behavior. Marcus agrees. Then his eyes suddenly light up and he says, I have something to tell Casper. He says excitedly, I saw Miss Cecilia today. I fell in love at first sight. I really like her. Hearing this, Casper and I are both shocked, unable to believe our ears. He pleads, I heard you're friends. You'll help me, won't you? He even makes a kissing gesture, indicating he used this to show his feelings to me. My temper flares. This guy is so clueless. At the same time, I catch Casper's dark expression. The atmosphere around him grows heavy. Marcus doesn't notice. He says with a grin that he'll go down and get ready first. As he turns to leave, Casper calls out, Marcus! Casper places his hand on Marcus's shoulder and says, she's very beautiful. I can understand your feelings, but a gentleman should consider her feelings first. The more he speaks, the tighter his hand grips Marcus's shoulder. Casper continues, seriously, intimate gestures without consent are very rude. After saying this, he finally releases his grip on Marcus's shoulder. I think to myself, is Casper truly angry? His tone is so stern. Marcus rubs his aching shoulder and quickly answers, yes, I understand. After saying this, he turns to leave, but Casper still looks displeased. I see him suddenly raise his hand. He strikes Marcus's head without hesitation hesitation. Marcus staggers from the blow, completely dazed. He holds his aching head and mutters, "Why did I get hit again?" Casper clicks his tongue lightly. "I thought there was a bug. Seems I was wrong. Now go. Stop being an eyesore here." Marcus stands there stunned. "That excuse is way too half-hearted, isn't it?" Casper turns back, his tone softening as he apologizes to me. He instructs me seriously, "If he bothers you again, fight back. I'll handle the consequences." I nod blankly, clearly sensing the cold atmosphere. Casper seems to still be silently fuming. The air becomes increasingly awkward and tense. I don't know what to say. I begin stammering to find something to say, unable to form a complete sentence. Casper chuckles softly and interrupts me, saying I don't need to make small talk. He gently pats my little bare head and says, "You're not here to cheer me up." I belatedly realize, that's true. I'm not here to console anyone. I quickly raise my paws to smooth the fur on the bear's head that he messed up. Suddenly my eyes light up and I clap my paws together. I know what to say. I clasp my paws and ask Casper hesitantly in a small voice, "What you said when you scolded Marcus just now, were you sincere?" As I speak, my voice grows quieter. "Do you really think I'm beautiful?" Casper raises an eyebrow at me. Does he need to say it again? Hearing this, I complain stubbornly, "So you were just saying it." He quickly denies it and hastily explains that he just didn't think it needed confirmation. He responds with focused, serious eyes, "You're very beautiful. Objectively speaking, you're stunningly beautiful." I tilt my head in confusion. What does objectively beautiful mean? You said before that I was scary. He frowns in puzzlement and asks why I'm still bothered by that comment. I'm even more confused. Scary but beautiful? Can those coexist? He ponders, "Well, how about beautifully intimidating?" I can't help but laugh. Even, I think that sounds false. I say honestly, I've never thought of myself as beautiful. My hair and eyes are both red. I add, Vivian with her blonde hair and blue eyes is the beautiful one. Casper nods in agreement. That young lady is indeed beautiful. The ideal beauty in the eyes of Solaris Empire people. Then he changes tack, but that doesn't mean you're not beautiful. Each has their own beauty. He asks curiously, "You don't seem to like red very much. Why is that?" I speak bluntly, because it's not pretty. Red is an unpopular color. He counters, "How can any color be unpretty? All colors are beautiful in themselves." He adds, "Appearance isn't important. A person's inner self is the core. You shouldn't demean yourself." I defend myself. I just have a clear understanding of myself. He retorts, "You clearly don't have the correct understanding." He brings up rumors many people have proposed to you. You've just been rejecting them. I'm shocked. Proposals? Where did that rumor come from? He analyzes, setting aside appearance. "You're a count's daughter. You shouldn't feel inferior." I quickly retort, "Don't joke. I'm just an illegitimate daughter." I say honestly, even if my looks are decent, I can only live quietly. I explain, "As an illegitimate daughter, I'm the family's shame." Casper is shocked. "How can you think that? Your father truly considers you his daughter and doesn't dislike you." I smile bitterly, "Casper, you're naive. My family's attitude isn't what matters." I add softly, "Precisely because they're good to me. I must behave properly." Hearing this, Casper furrows his brow, looking even more confused. I explain, "I have to consider what others think. I can't cause trouble for my family. People nowadays always love finding targets to criticize, and unfortunately, my striking red hair draws too much attention." After hearing this, Casper falls silent for a long time, just looking at me with pity. I say hesitantly, "After that accident when I was 6, I've never had a single peaceful night's sleep since. At night, I always wake up alone and hear people calling me an illegitimate daughter. Those words are harsh, but no matter how I try, I can't escape them. Most importantly, my family's kindness only makes me feel worse. They're too careful with me, as if I'm a guest. I worry that if I'm upset by others' slander, my family will argue on my behalf. In the end, it would just cause unnecessary trouble for them. So I just want to live quietly. I've lived this way my whole life." After hearing this, Casper looks at me with heartache. Then he silently strokes my little bare face, comforting me. He slowly begins, "When I was young, my father always scolded me for being too sentimental. Father said royalty must be above others and cannot show human emotion. But mother said lords should protect their people and told me to be more compassionate." He reflects actually from their own perspectives. They weren't wrong. So no matter what you do, there will always be people who deny you. And those hiding in the shadows love to slander without reason. We don't need to mind them. He encourages me. "Since you'll be criticized anyway, you might as well do as you wish." He pats my head and adds, "Once you've decided on the right path, walk it bravely." I mutter softly, "But I still don't like red hair." He responds immediately, "Then I'll like it for you." Then he instructs me to like his silver hair more in return. My cheeks heat up as I say with a laugh, "What kind of logic is that?" So silly. Back at the Eisen estate, I lean out of my room window, looking to see if Casper has come. Vivian's voice comes at this moment. She pulls my body back from leaning out the window, saying, "This is very dangerous." I hastily cover up, saying I was just looking at the scenery outside. She brings a stack of books, telling me to read them if I'm bored. "Don't you love novels?" I flip through them and say I've read all these, and why are they all about knights? Vivian answers hastily, "I just grabbed them randomly. They just happen to all be this type." She laughs it off. "So strange, what a coincidence." I take the opportunity to probe, "You do have feelings for Duke Casper, don't you?" But she immediately covers my mouth, telling me not to talk nonsense. She changes the subject and asks what I talked about with Lord Theodore yesterday. Hearing this, I ask curiously if Vivian knows what free love is. She asks, in confusion, "Free love? I've heard about it from northern friends I know from the palace. In the north, there's no engagement. Only those in love are considered lovers." She sighs, "That's so romantic." I press on, "Would you kiss someone you're not engaged to?" She's shocked and asks, "Did you kiss Lord Theodore?" I hastily deny it. "No, we didn't kiss. It was just close." Then I change the subject and ask if she has anywhere to go today. She answers no, and I say with a smile that staying home will surely bring her something good. In the evening, a torrential rain begins to fall outside. Our whole family is dining in the dining room. The atmosphere is warm and harmonious. Father looks at me and asks why I seem so listless today. He suggests if you've recovered enough, don't always stay in your room. I nod in response, "All right, thank you. I'm really fine." Suddenly there's a knock at the door, interrupting our meal. A servant reports, Lord Count. 2 guests have arrived saying they have important business. Father asks in confusion, 2 people? Who visits this late? The servant responds, Duke Casper and Lord Theodore. They both came specifically to visit me. Everyone is surprised to hear this. My stomach drops. Theodore? What's he doing here? Father looks outside the window and says it's very late. Tell them to come back during the day. The servant looks troubled and says, the rain is getting heavier outside. The roads must be difficult. It wouldn't be appropriate to send them away. Suddenly a flash of lightning illuminates the rainy night outside the window. Countess Eisen speaks up. Then let's not keep the guests waiting too long. Father sighs helplessly and instructs the servants to prepare 2 guest rooms. I'm delighted inside. Father is letting them stay? How sudden, I think to myself. Though this is reasonable, we can't send away royalty and people from the Peace Covenant nation. Father asks if I received notice of their visit. I shake my head. Father suggests that tomorrow I join him to hear the reason for their visit. I raise my hand and answer, how about we talk over a meal tomorrow? After returning to my room, the rain outside grows heavier, the sound against the window particularly clear. I lie in bed, my heart fluttering. Casper is in our house right now. I recall his words. He said the journey was far, so next time he'd come see me. I reflect. I've been waiting for him since then, and I never expected he'd actually come. I'm full of anticipation. I want to show him every corner of the house. I also want to take him to my favorite rooms and tell him what I do at night. The more I think about it, the more excited I get. I really can't sleep, but I want to talk with him so badly. Suddenly, I feel a bone-chilling breeze. I whip my head around and discover the window is wide open. I'm instantly alert. Could it be a thief? Then I see a tall, dark figure approach the window, about to climb in. In the darkness, I tremble all over, terrified. My throat tightens. Just as I'm about to shout that there's a thief, the person swiftly leans over and covers my mouth firmly. A deep, male voice comes urgently. It's me. I squint to see who it is and breathe a long sigh of relief. Casper? What are you doing here so late? He raises an eyebrow with a slight smile. Why are you surprised? Is it strange for me to come see you? I stare at his soaked clothes and hair in surprise. Why are you completely drenched? I frown with worry, not avoiding such heavy rain. What if you catch a cold? He presses a finger to his lips in a shushing gesture, telling me to calm down first and not make noise. I quickly cover my mouth and fall silent instantly. He explains, climbing through the window lets us talk quietly. I'll get wet going back anyway, so don't worry about it. I quickly say, I care. Wait, I'll get you a towel. Then I quickly hand him a towel and complain. Casper, you're such an idiot. You don't know how to take care of yourself. He teases me deliberately. It seems you're not very happy I came to see you? I retort, I could have come to you. I was about to fall asleep. That way you wouldn't have gotten soaked, he says with a smile. I know, but I still braved the rain to see you, he teases. Even if you're pretending, you should at least pretend to be happy, right? My face turns bright red as I say softly, I never said I wasn't happy. I take the towel and drape it over him carefully. He chuckles. Your welcome is not enthusiastic at all, I explain. I've been waiting for you. Did you know it would rain? Did you choose this time on purpose? He admits honestly. Without this excuse, your father definitely wouldn't let me stay overnight. I protest. My father is very considerate and warm-hearted. Suddenly, I remember something and ask if he'd like some tea to warm up. After saying this, I get up to prepare tea for him. I look at the things in the cabinet, flustered, trying to distinguish the teapot from the heating lamp. I say awkwardly, even though these are in my room, I've never used them. I carefully try to light the flame, but my fingertip gets accidentally burned by the flame, and my body involuntarily leans back. Casper reacts swiftly and immediately catches me, preventing me from falling. We're extremely close. My pulse races instantly and my cheeks burn. He lightly taps my nose and asks with a smile how I can be so careless. I cover my nose and mutter with grievance, it really was hot. I've never made tea before. He teaches patiently, saying he'll teach me how to make tea today. I obediently sit down with him by the stove. I watch his tea-making steps carefully. His movements are very skilled. The tea is ready quickly, and instantly the whole room fills with fragrance. I lift the teacup and quickly take a sip. Wow, it tastes so good! Casper chuckles and explains. Because the tea leaves are good, the tea is fragrant. He adds, the fine tea from Eisen territory truly lives up to its reputation. I nod in agreement, then ask curiously, what's Ashford territory famous for? He answers, only the distillery there is famous. There's a type of spirit liquor with a higher alcohol content than wine. He adds, it's made from grain, not grapes, and has a very strong taste. At this moment he suddenly remembers. On the way here, I encountered Theodore Stone. Are you close with him? Seeing me lower my head in silence, he raises an eyebrow and asks if this is an admission. I clutch my clothes hesitantly. Well, I'm not sure if we're considered close. He gets along well with Vivian, and often comes to visit us. So I've always assumed he likes Vivian. I scratch my head awkwardly and say, but he said that's not it. He just thinks I resemble someone. Hearing this, Casper places his hand on his forehead and asks if it's the woman in the locket. I stare wide-eyed in surprise. How does he know? Casper answers, because she was a princess of the Frosthold Kingdom, Princess Isabella's older sister. She was very valiant. Everyone deeply admired Her Highness the Princess, but unfortunately she was later poisoned to death by a Solaris Empire spy. Theodore believes the Empire was behind it. To get revenge, he became an assassin. Then I suddenly remember something and ask, what did he mean before when he said Princess Isabella betrayed trust once? Casper raises his eyebrows in surprise. How do you know about that? I'm just about to answer. It was before at Rose Court. Before I finish, Vivian's voice suddenly comes from outside the door. She asks softly if I'm already asleep. Without waiting for my response, the next second the door is gently pushed open. Seeing this, I panic and instinctively leap toward Casper. My body falls against him and I use the towel to cover his face. Vivian walks in on this scene. Her face is full of shock and she asks aloud, what's going on here?